Hello, everybody! Welcome back to a brand new episode of Star Wars Time Show, and sorry if it sounds extremely loud. That's because my man and I, as you can see him over there, I don't know where I'm pointing right now, but we're testing out our live stream apparatus. That's right, we're giving it a dry run today. No, this was not live, Greg. You didn't miss anything. Same with you, Cryo. You didn't miss anything. We're just kind of doing some testing here. But I can already tell on the audio only version, my stem is probably going to sound a little too loud because my sound waves right now look as if Nick is sticking a hot poker up my ass as I'm trying to deliver this opening, because it's essentially simulating that I am screaming at the top of my lungs. So I apologize for that. I'm trying to stay back as far as I can from the mic, but we wanted to do this dry run just to see kind of how the video stuff would work. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should see my little fat head. I'm waving now. You can see Nick's little fat head. He's waving now. We got our heads kind of split with the site. So, the site that is the Star Wars Time Show, it's not Nick and I, it's all about the internet. But we're going to try this out. So if this works out, we're going to hopefully try for a live stream next week. But knowing,
it's gonna be interesting,
right? knowing the way our pre-tests have gone, it could be a shit show, if you will.
It took us 30 minutes just to get here to this point, so it's gonna be, if we try to do live, we might have to have an hour.
Yeah, I mean, we're discovering all sorts of oddities within the Mac operating system, within OBS, this, that, and the other thing. But we're here. And we're ready to talk some Star Wars. And boy, oh boy, is there plenty to talk about. I know, Nick, a few weeks ago, we were kind of lamenting the fact that the lockdown had kind of halted progress on a lot of Star Wars projects, so there may not be much to talk about. So we're like, let's think of our special topics. We're sitting here trying to rewrite Revenge of the Sith and cook up interesting things to talk about. But lo and behold, the Star Wars news machine is still thriving.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that's because of the Clone Wars, and we're saving all that for just before our fan segment, the top 5. The reason most of you come here, the champion of the group of assholes on Instagram. But before we get there, we have plenty of stuff to talk about. Obviously, when we got it, we're going to start with some toys, and we have a few new releases, or teases, if you will. Reveals, that's an even better word, for Star Wars fans to check out. We're going to start with this immaculate looking Hot Toys 1/6 scale Mando Scout Trooper with speeder bike and Baby Yoda figure.
I mean, this is like Hot Toys has completely invested in the Mandalorian and especially Baby Yoda now, because you've seen all of the other ones, and this one looks just as good. Plus you get the Scout Trooper, plus you get the speeder bike. I mean, it's fucking magnificent.
I can remember one where, hey, when are they going to do the Baby Yodas and this, that, and the other thing? And I kept telling you, I'm waiting for Hot Toys. And that was a fucking lie, as most things are that come out of my mouth, right? Because what I do, I pre-ordered the Sideshow version, which I've subsequently canceled for the Hot Toys version. But as expected, Nick, Hot Toys is not disappointing with their reveal so far. I mean, the standard Mando looks great. The Beskar Mando looks great. The Beskar Mando with the child looks awesome. The life-size child looks amazing. And now we're getting this set, and I've already pre-ordered it, just in case you were wondering. It's a doozy, too. This one clocks in at $455.
Whew.
Yeah. And that's because of all the shit you get, right? I mean, you're getting a 1/6 scale Scout Trooper. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slideshow on the site so people can see that are watching on YouTube here. But you get the Scout Trooper, so a nice Remnant era looking Scout Trooper. I don't have any Stormtroopers at this scale, so I kind of use that to justify the purchase.
There we go.
You get a 1/6 scale speeder bike. All right, Nick? So someone that doesn't collect a lot, this is somewhat new territory for Hot Toys. They typically don't do vehicles. The only one I've seen since I've collected one scale was that Darth Maul Crescent Moon speeder bike thing he had in TPM.
Yeah, in episode 1, I remember that one.
Yeah. So you get that, you get a nice looking theme base, but best of all, you get the little motherfucker with his little gleeful smile expression, right? I mean that's almost worth getting this set right for that guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the little baby Yoda, and you have his little sack, too, that they kept him in. The one thing that I will say about this reveal is that one of the images, or a couple of the images, include an IG-11.
Oh, yeah.
I know that IG-11's not in it, but it makes you want it so bad. Like, you see how cool that looks.
Well, I'm glad you're starting to understand the plight of us collectors, okay? So my brain went right there, Nick, right with you. I mean, you don't even collect, but you're already sitting there going like, if they have this set, I should probably also get the IG-11, right? Because that's a pretty memorable moment from the show when he's riding the baby and he's got that little shit-eating grin on his face sitting in a knapsack on the front. So yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, I was never planning on getting the IG-11. I still haven't got the IG-11. But because of these fucking glamour shots, this one right here that I'm looking at right now, which is a close-up of the little baby guy, in the sack on the front of IG-11, looking like he's having the best day of his life. It's hard not to go, you know what, maybe I should just plunk down another couple hundred on IG-11 just to recreate this scene. So, I mean, this is something a lot of toy photographers are plagued with when we get these new release shots. The mind starts wondering, and sometimes the wallet pays the price.
Oh yeah, I mean $600 essentially if you were to buy the IG-11 too, just to get a couple of figures and then a Baby Yoda and a speeder. I mean, that's a hefty price to pay, but if you're invested, I mean, I guess it's worth it, right?
Brother, at this point, I'm pretty sure just from high-end the Child and Mando collectibles, I'm over $1,000. I mean, that's easy now at this point. I mean, I'm almost over $1,000 just with this guy. And the fucking life-size Baby Yoda, who's also over $400. So, yeah, shit gets costly. This whole FOMO stuff, toy photography hobby, isn't good. It's not good, man. It's not good for your head. It's not good for your finances. But boy, oh boy, is it fun to do.
It's just like drugs, right?
Yeah, no, it 100% is like drugs. I believe there's an account on Instagram called Toys Are My Drug. And I think that used to be a hashtag too. So no, I mean, it's plastic crack, man. We all know it. We all got to get our fix. And I got my fix on this set right here, $455. So we got the actually that's a lie. I always say that I'm going to have a pre-order link, and I don't. So
not in this one.
But I bet if you go over to Exclu Magazine, which we got linked down here in the post, they probably have it. Or you can just go to SideshowCollectibles.com. It is up right now. Or you could just get the Scout Trooper by himself. But who the fuck would do that, honestly?
If you're going to get the Scout Trooper, you need the speeder bike, and you need at least Baby Yoda. I mean, IG-11 is an additional service there, but right. You need Baby Yoda, you need the sack, you need the.
I feel like I need them all. I mean, the ones I haven't gone down the dark path yet on are the Heavy. I have not pre-ordered the Heavy. I haven't pre-ordered the regular bucket. I haven't pre-ordered the Flame Trooper. But I did get the Death Trooper. I got this guy. I got both Mandos. I got the life-size Baby Yoda, the Mando with Baby Yoda, and now this set. So I'm thinking I'm going to be okay. Because of Clone Wars, I had to pre-order another figure, but I'll save that story for later on. So I spent a lot of money last week at Sideshow. And you can too, because this guy's up there now. So go ahead and check that out. But we're not done with the toys yet, right, buddy?
No, not yet.
We've got another one here, and I know some people are questioning if this is a figure arts figure, but I do believe this is Metacom toy, which we call Mafex over here. Nick was calling it Mafex. I think he's been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake or something, or snorting some Mako. I never knew they called it Mako until this fucking game.
I know, right? You're like, oh, it's Mako.
Oh, I went straight American. It's would that be the long A or the short A sound? The long A?
Long A. A.
Yeah. Right, yeah, I forget all that. So it's Mako, Mako. But anyways, thanks to our homies over at X-Clue Magazine, we got what are magazine scans of a potential Mafex Mandalorian set, and it does look like it's Mando and Baby Yoda. I'm not sure if it's going to be one or the other. It does look like it is going to be a set, right?
Yeah, it looks like a duo here.
Yeah.
Plus, you get some flamethrower action. You get his disintegration rifle, and then a lot of other attachments for his wrist. So you get pistol. It looks like you get like the grappling hook, and what is that? Is that one Whistler, or is it like a little single rocket?
I think you might be right. It might be a bullet from the pulse rifle.
Okay, yeah.
Or any gun, who knows? But, I mean, just from these shitty-looking magazine scans, it does look like a nice set. You got the soft goods cape there. The child looks all right. I mean, he doesn't look as goofy as the figure arts version we were kind of talking about a few weeks ago. I keep looking at Nick, and he's got Rogue One going in the background there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching it. They're breaking Jin out right now. This is right where K2's about to fucking clothesline her, I think.
Yeah, K2 throws her on the ground. Don't struggle. I'm trying
Boom! Eat it! Oh, I love that, dude. I love K2.
He's great.
This is going to be dangerous, by the way, because I've got severe ADD when it comes to entertainment. So the more shit I have in my periphery here, I'm going to be going off task left and right. If this is how
we may have to cut the movies from the background.
No, I'm literally like, you know what? Screw the Mafex talk. I just want to look at Nick's bald head and watch Rogue One. And it's not. I can't even see the full screen. It's like a fucking like a sliver, but it's Rogue One. So. I don't know, man. I mean, I'll give you my take on Mafex because you're not the collector type, so you're probably not fully aware of this brand. This brand before Figure Arts was known as the figures that crumble in the palm of your hand brand.
Oh.
Right? Like melt in your mouth, not in your hand type of shit. These would definitely melt in your mouth and your hands because I got the Mafex made a brilliantly looking. I mean, they looked fantastic. It was a C-3PO and R2-D2 set. And they look fantastic. This was right when I was getting into collecting the higher end 1/12 scale Star Wars. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. You got to order a lot of these from overseas, typically somewhere in Asia. And you show up, get him out of the box. I'm like, man, look at 3PO. He looks so fucking good. He's so golden. Love him. As soon as I fucking take him out of the box, his legs fucking fall off. Like, I wasn't even... It's not like my story from a few weeks back where I manhandled Crate Luke and fucking tossed him off a wall.
Yeah.
I was taking this little cunt out of his package. And
he just fell to pieces.
Literally, his legs just fucking dropped out. Like, no pressure at all. Just fell off. If we didn't waste so much time, I would walk back in my toy room right now and get him, and I could hold him here and just go, and I guarantee you his body... legs would fall off, arms would fall off. So that's... Mafex kind of got that rep, at least with some of its Star Wars figures. They always look great, but they feel like they're going to fucking fall apart. And that's kind of how Figure Arts is getting these days. But I can tell you, looking at these shitty scans, I'll probably do it. I've got something. There's something with the full Beskar Mando and the child from season 1 that I feel like I need to have every version of the set.
I mean, the full Beskar, it just looks so good because you get the shine and the sheen of the Beskar. Right. You get all of his weaponry with it. You even get the flamethrower to throw on top of it. I mean, it's an iconic duo in Star Wars at this point. These two, full Beskar Mando and Baby Yoda.
It's like I don't know, like how much can they change BY's appearance in between seasons? I mean, it's not like he's going to get much taller. He's probably he might double in size, right, to get up to Yoda's height.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll throw like a new costume on him for season 2?
That's what I thought. I mean, like, yeah, he's running around in this potato sack right now, but I imagine that once we get a little bit further into season 2, you're probably going to have a change of outfit. I mean, something a little bit more.
You know what I would love for him to have, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not mentioning this the past 2 Siege of Mandalore episodes, but if you look at Ahsoka's outfit right now, it's like Mandalorian spandex.
Okay.
Like, because it has like that geometric symbol in the center, you know, that they all have.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like looking right now at Homeboy Din, like right there in the center. See that symbol?
Yeah, right here.
Okay,
right
so she's got that, and it's like done in the Bo-Katan Night Owl blue. I want my man in something like that, like a nice skin tight Mandalorian inspired spacesuit.
I think that Baby Yoda could pull that off, especially if they do link up with some more Mandalorians in this season, in season 2. Yeah. I mean, we assume that Ahsoka's going to be in there, and then because of Ahsoka being in there, we also assume that Sabine Wren will probably be in there too. So if we get some more Mando action here, not just Din, but if we get Sabine, if we get some more other Mandalorians in there, they could whip up a special pint-sized Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm not even saying he needs the armor. I just want him in some sort of like spandex tight Star Wars style spacesuit. Yeah. Complete. I do want him to have an arm gauntlet though. Like, I want something on his arm like that. He, you know, it's not as advanced as Mando's, but I want him to have something like that too.
At least a little communicator.
Right. Again, right back to Ahsoka. You know, in this episode, she uses that thing on her wrist to call Rex. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. The more I think about this, it has to be obvious at this point, or at least why Ahsoka would show up in Mando. I mean, think about what she's done for the people of Mandalore over 2 episodes of the show at this point.
Yeah, she's literally led the Siege of Mandalore,
right?
Not only from the Republic side, but like she is actively working with Bo-Katan and the Night Owls to overthrow Maul, and they captured Maul. Like, you know, we'll get to that.
I know, dude, but I almost I wrote it down. It's like something I may do a video on, but it's. Filoni has made it so organic and natural now that Ahsoka would be someone that Mandalorians would turn to at this stage of the game, like during the Mandalorian timeline, that she has to be in the show. I mean, she's essentially a hero of Mandalore, at least Bo-Katan's Mandalore.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, we assume from seeing, you know, the way that Din was rescued when he was a child, that he was rescued by... you know, Death Watch at the time, but really we now know it as the Night Owls because it's like the Bo-Katan.
Yeah, she took. I mean, she left Death Watch during the Clone Wars. I mean that's covered in the Clone Wars. She leaves after Maul comes and kills Pre and all that shit. So who knows if Din was saved by her Night Owls or by Death Watch before it got splintered. But either way, yeah, I mean, you would have to think that those kids or just even in Mandalorian lore when they were exiled and had to live in the sewers, that they always heard about this space wizard that came and helped to free Mandalore of Maul and kept her promise and actually left with the Republic. So, and you got to remember, Ursa Wren was around during all this, so Sabine would have knew about all this, and obviously Sabine knows Ahsoka from Rebels. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because we're fucking stupid that it took us this long to just be like, you know, Ahsoka and Mandalorian it makes so much sense now thanks to the Clone Wars.
Hand in hand. I mean, it's probably the first thing that Din thought of when he heard, like, you have to bring him to his people, and he was like, okay, well, I have to bring him to Jedi. The first thing he thought of was Ahsoka. She's like, I've always heard this story about this Jedi warrior that helped during the siege to overthrow, you know, Maul overthrow the corrupt government of Mandalore and then retake the city. So his first thought was like, can I find this Ahsoka Tano person and can she help this little fucking baby whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I was just sitting there, it's like, you would have to think that stories of Ahsoka were passed down, not that there's a ton of time or a bunch of generations that sprung up in between the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian time, but there had to be stories that passed down about this Jedi warrior that came and helped Bo-Katan, the leader of Mandalore, get rid of Darth Maul and essentially Gar Saxon and them kind of put them in their place. Now, I know Gar, once the Empire comes to power, he kind of fucks everybody again, and that's why Mandalorians almost get wiped out and they live in sewers. But again, we'll talk about that during our Clone Wars, because there's so much good shit, man. Darth fucking Maul! Darth fucking Maul. That's all I gotta say. I'm about ready to get a tattoo of the motherfucker on my face, Post Malone style. Like, I'm gonna fucking Zabrick my head.
There we go.
All right, sorry, I'm getting excited. I can't wait to talk Clone Wars, dude. Clone Wars. All right, so that's kind of our toy stuff. Once we get more information on the Mafex Fett, we'll try to get it to you. If we don't get it to you, our friends over at X-Clue Magazine will. All right, get your shit together, my friends. But we're not done yet with the kind of the farting around type of stuff, the more newsy articles, if you will. Not the stuff we can pontificate on. But we got this update. Actually, just came today, right before we recorded. Nick, EA and DICE put out a video to detail the latest and, as Nick pointed out before we went live, the final free community update for Star Wars Battlefront 2. This one, Nick, is called The Battle on Scarif, and it drops tomorrow, April 29th, or today if you're listening to the show on release day, which you fucking should if you're a good, loyal subject of the SWTS.
Pump those numbers up. But yeah, I mean, this kind of content, honestly, when we heard Battlefront 2 is coming out, after seeing what Battlefront 1 was, like, Matt and I were pretty disappointed. We're like, you're just going back and you're doing the same thing. But they actually made some really good improvements to this game. One, giving it an actual story mode with expanded content that goes all the way up into the Age of Resistance, so you're not just focusing on the Age of the Empire, you're not just focusing on the Age of the Rebellion fighting through Ozai and Versio, you're actually going up until the Age of the Resistance with the expanded content from the story. And they've put out so much free multiplayer content over so many years, over 2+ years of this game that this game's been out, that it has become worth owning it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm watching the trailer now as you're talking. I'm kind of bummed out you can't see our feed. But God, I mean, it looks so fucking good. Like, this game looks so good. I'm sure they're running it on a mega PC, but still. All the work they've put in since it released, and don't get us wrong, this game was a disaster when they first announced it. I mean, it was essentially like playing the lottery in terms of what type of content you were going to get. But you got to give them credit. You can hate EA. They're the publisher. They're the ones that tell developers, you got to do it this way, that way, this way. But you got to give DICE and EA for that part credit that they kind of listened to that feedback and did alter how this game is to be consumed. And as you said, I think this is the 25th free update, and these aren't just fucking bullshit patches either.
Yeah, this is like new maps, new characters, new game modes, everything. It really did take the game and turn it into something that the community could really run with post-release. Because for the first one, it was essentially like, well, fuck it. I mean, like, here you go. Here's what the game is. We'll give you 2 free content updates, and that's it. That's all you're going to get. There's no story mode. There's nothing else like that. That's the game. This one, they've expanded it so far from what it was. They've righted what they did wrong, and they literally, in this video, in the Battle on Scarif community update video, they were like, we're really excited to see what the coming years will look like from the community. So, allowing people that love the game to really make it their own and make, really cool content out of it. So now that DICE is done with this, what I'm interested to see is what their next thing is. Are they going to, make another Star Wars game that's not Battlefront focused, or are they just going to continue to go, through the DICE, rotation, which is basically Battlefront, Battlefield, Battlefront, Battlefield. So,
well, they didn't do a Battlefield this past fall, did they?
They didn't. They just stayed with Battlefield 5.
Yeah. So from what I know, I mean, I killed entertainmentbuddha.com this year, so I'm way out of that PR loop these days. But I don't feel like, is DICE even working on anything right now that's been announced?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what
Yeah, you pull that up on the internet machine. So, yeah, I mean, the Scarif update is going down on the 29th. You're going to get the Scarif map, which, if you're watching the trailer, it looks phenomenal. I think it adds, Galactic Conflict, or it adds a new era to some of the other game modes, this, that, and the other things. So
yeah, I mean, really, they had a game release last year, which I think was just like, you know, they weren't actually the sole developers of it, but it was something called Ultra Core, which was like a 2D shooter. But after that, they don't have anything announced. Battlefield 5 was the last game that they released. That was 2018. So I really do expect them to come out and announce something, I would imagine, soon, because you don't need a full studio to...
Well, what would you want them to do? Because at this point, I mean, I just keep watching this trailer on loop because it looks great. And that's kind of my point here. If this game is buttoned up and as polished as it's going to get, and you have all these modes and updates and this, that, and the other thing, could they really make it better in a Battlefront 3? Or would you rather them kind of move into a different arena? And I'm not saying just remake a Republic Commando, but maybe focus on just a pure kind of single-player campaign shooter Star Wars game?
I think that
versus a pure multiplayer with a single player light tack on.
Yeah, I mean, DICE has never been known for their sole single player content. They've always been a multiplayer focused development studio.
You know, I mean, did you play Republic Commandos?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had the four guys, and you could switch between the four clones, right? Like I think one was like Sev. Each clone had a weapon specialty, or, you know, one was a tank, this, that, and the other thing. I guess that's what I'm kind of talking about, because we got Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, that's our Jedi third person thing, but I think fans would love a full on single player game, but a shooter set in Star Wars, obviously with some multiplayer tacked on, but
not necessarily Doom-like, because I think that you'll never get the violence or the
I mean, I love me a Doom shooter, but that doesn't really work in Star Wars.
Yeah, but something like that, especially the more recent Dooms, like Doom Eternal, which was so story focused, and the multiplayer was, again, like it was an addition, but you have an excellent story single player mode that's built into that game. That is the core essence of Doom Eternal. So if you did that with a Star Wars, you know, trooper style shooter, where, you know, set in the Age of the Republic, so you're not into the Age of the Rebellion yet, you can still play as clone troopers. There's a lot of good story, as we've seen through the Clone Wars cartoon series, for you to play as clones through. So if they were to do something like that, single player focused, not single player add-on like we had for Battlefront 2, single player focused combat and story, right, I think that's the next thing for them, because like you said, you can't do, but what's Battlefront 3 going to be? Like, you're not going to have any sort of new movie content come out in the next 2.5
exactly years. And like I said, I think they've perfected this version of Battlefront. I think the only thing they could do with another Battlefront would be just remake the good Battlefronts.
Yeah, I mean,
like to a T, literally just reskin the fucker. Like Battlefront 2, reskin it, have to where you can get in a ship and fucking fly into space and attack a starship, that type of stuff.
That was the thing that I was going to mention, is the only thing that you could do in Battlefront 3 that's not in Battlefront 2 and apparently will never be there is actual space combat. Like, getting into dogfights in space with two capital ships fighting each other. Like, that is what people have wanted from Battlefront 2, and it just never happened. It was more of a ground combat focus, and then you can get into an X-Wing or a TIE fighter and you can fight in atmosphere. But people have always wanted to have that part of old Battlefront 2 where you're out in space. So that's the only other thing they can do. I mean, I guess you could do a fully focused space combat game where it's almost like a flight simulator, except it's complete like if
go old school, go
versus TIE fighter.
There you go. I was gonna say let's break out some of the good shit like LucasArts and just do an X-Wing or a TIE fighter. I used to love. I'm talking like little Matt installing games on a CD with a flight stick, like Red 5 standing by. that type of stuff.
That they could do that, but I mean that's definitely not in their wheelhouse. They've never done like a flight sim / I mean they've had, ground to air combat, air to ground combat in all the Battlefield games, but you've never just had like a game that's straight dogfighting with no ground combat happening in the background.
No, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what DICE does moving forward, because like they've essentially been on like Battlefield, Battlefront duty, and they've never really strayed from that. So it's going to be a cool time, especially if EA keeps the license, because I think that their license agreement with Star Wars, with Lucasfilm and Disney ends relatively soon. I think it ends in like 2022 or 2023.
We can ensure Disney will fuck that up, so I'm not.
Yeah, they'll go from EA and just give it to Activision, and it'll be even worse.
Yeah, it's like, or they'll just try to do it themselves, or no, they'll give it to Bob Iger. So
because they started the reformation of LucasArts.
It was what was it called? It wasn't LucasArts. It was
Lucasfilm Games.
Yeah, it was one of their other labels, but I know we had it on the website. I can't task myself with looking that up. That would take too much effort right now.
I think it's I don't know if we had an announcement for it.
Yeah, you guys know what to do.
Go produce Star Wars games.
Yeah. Go look at StarWarsTime.net.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you. Up here, there's this little search thing. Use that. All right, so anyways, DICE probably not working on any games, and if they are, they'll probably just make another Battlefront clone, so
we'll see.
Fuck that. Speaking of games, and there's that speaking of right there.
First one.
Speaking of, I fucking hate that. Like, anytime I say that, I feel like a failure in broadcasting. Speaking of our next topic, Nick, we've got one for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes fans. And I'll let you kick this one off, because you posted this one, and shit, I got to do my grief missions today before I forget. But
I got to do it too. But
Mando's coming to SWGO.
Yeah, Mando. Not just Mando, but as you can see probably from the article that Matt got pulled up here, is you got Cara Dune, Grief Karga, and the Mando himself coming to the holo table in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I mean, we've talked about it before, and we used to have like a lot more, or more regular SWGO conversations on the podcast, but I think that we got to a point where we literally couldn't say anything more about the game. We spoke about it to the highest degree that we could, but the game continues to put out content. The new content's all focused around Mando. Cara Dune dropped on the 23rd, and you can get her through tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I
think listening to it on release day is today, so the 29th.
Yeah, fire that up. Tap that icon, fellas SWGOers, if you forgot.
Yeah, so
because you know these fuckers are going to be required for an event.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know who. I mean like I don't.
The child, dude. So let's get into this, because this is the funny thing. Like, my 8-year-old nephew has now become a SWGO head.
Yeah.
And he uses that Facebook Messenger for kids, and we have talks daily, like all day long. I mean, I could look at my most recent one. He just unlocked ships, and he's all excited that he can do ships now. But he's the one that said this. He's like, what if they do the child as a legendary event for them? And I was like,
I mean, it makes sense.
That's fucking brilliant, brother. I was like, yes. And I said, I think the only other character we could get to have the full squad of 5 then would be the Heavy.
Yeah,
because you'd have Heavy, Grief, Din,
or IG-11.
Yeah, but they already have 2 IGs in the game. They got 88.
Yeah. They got 88, and then they got that one. It's like IG
100 or something. Yeah, it's a goofy IG.
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, but that's why I was thinking. Well, maybe you just go with Heavy and the child, but I would have to think that the child could be their legendary event. I don't know. But I thought it'd be funny to have that little fucking thing walk out. I mean, he would be like a speck of a dot, because we already have a Hobo Yoda and a GMY. And they're already tiny. So like the child would be the smallest fucking pixel on that screen. And it makes me happy to think about it.
It would almost be like if you unlock the child, the only way that you could play him is with the Mando. So like you couldn't have a squad that had the child in it and not Mando. It would force you to build it like that. And then like the child would just like sit on Mando's back or something. Like he would be in a backpack on his back.
But I feel like whenever they do this, an event is only a few months away, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
these you can get these now. You can unlock them at what level? Star 2 or Star 3? 3-star?
Star 3, yeah.
But then they'll disappear unless you want to pay for them. But then once the event gets announced, they'll be farmable.
Yeah, they'll release their farms. So. I mean, the child makes sense. It would just be really interesting to see how they would implement them or implement him. It's just like, what would you do as that character? You could do like a stun for his little force lift, or I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think he would probably be more like Hobo, where he has no attacks. He's just all support, but the support's pretty legit. So
yeah, it's like a Hoda, or it would be like a C-3PO where he would debuff. And,
I do think it's interesting that they gave Grief and Din leader powers, though. That could say something.
Yeah, because Grief you could have Grief separated from Mando and just have him as a leader of a bounty hunter squad.
Yeah.
But then Mando's got bounty hunter
and scoundrel. So, I mean, I really think these characters are going to be highly useful. I mean, I think they're going to be guaranteed you're going to have to need them for an event, but I think they'll be good plug and plays for like GAC, which is Grand Arena Championship. Yep. Just to make real nice power squads for defense and whatnot. So, I don't know. I mean, we don't get a lot of comments from the fan base on SWGO, so I take that as no one fucking plays this. But I do urge those of you that have just kind of glossed over these segments and be like, these guys are fucking EA shill dipshits. I can't really talk about a Star Wars game that has consumed more of my time for the past, 5.5 years now than this little mobile title right here. I mean, it's still every single fucking day, Nick. Every day. This game gets played for at least an hour or more if you would total up all my sessions.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the most consistent game that I play right now. I mean, I used to play Star Wars games like crazy. Like I dedicated hundreds of hours to Star Wars: The Old Republic. Obviously the single player games that we've talked about so many times, but like the thing about those games is eventually you get to a point where you just stop playing, get burnt out, whatever. Like with a mobile title like this, it's so easy to just hop on your phone while you're sitting on the toilet and fucking play for 10 minutes, dude. Or something like that.
You get poop fingers all over your screen.
There you go. And then it's just it's good Star Wars content. You don't have to worry about like allocating too much brain space to it to follow storylines or anything like that. All you have to worry about is farming, fighting, and building up your squads. That's it. And it's just fun and it's free. I mean, if you don't want to spend money on a game, if you don't want to fucking buy Jedi Fallen Order, you don't want to buy Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can just download this for free, and then eventually, when you get sucked in enough, you will pay money. Like me and the intern got Matt to pay money at Star Wars Celebration.
That was the first time. And I'll be honest, they get me on these little flash sales now, like these $4.99s or $9.99s.
Yep.
But I probably still haven't spent more than $200.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I've always there's a lot of free to play games that I play, whether it be like League of Legends or something like that. I always say that if the game's free and I, put X amount of time into it, then it has earned my money. This game has earned my money because I play it so often. So I want to support Capital Games, which is the studio that makes this. I want to support them and allow them to be able to make great content for the game moving forward. Because if nobody paid anything for this game, it would have died years ago.
Oh yeah, right.
But
a lot of people get the misconception like, oh, these games are just cash grabs. It's like, well, yeah, that's called business, you stupid fucks. I mean, we live in a capitalistic society that believes in a free market, so they're going to try to make some cash. It's on you if you want to get all salty and feel bad for yourself if you don't want to pay to play. You do not have to pay to play this game. In fact, if you don't pay to play this game, you will have 10 years of content.
At this point, if you start now, you won't unlock everything in this game for at least 10 years.
Easy. I mean, dude, I'm 5.5. I've been playing since day one, 2015. All right? Day one. And I'm still 2 to 3 major legendary events behind the whales, like the people that spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, because they already have GLR, Galactic Legend Rey. They have Galactic Legend Kylo. They got everything already. They got the fucking
like the intern. I mean, he's currently working on Rey to unlock, and he's like, "Well, I'm not doing Kylo." I was like, "Fuck you, you're not." Bullshit. Well, yeah. He's like, "Well, maybe not now because I've blown all my resources." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll see."
Yeah. I mean, it's just the amount of time that it takes you to unlock these characters. Like, for me, like, my latest big unlock was Jedi Knight Revenant. I was like, and I told Matt, I was like, dude, I fucking finally got Jedi Knight Revenant. I don't feel like a piece of shit anymore. Like, it just, you get a level of satisfaction after unlocking these legendary characters.
I mean, it's like, I don't know what to kind of equate it to, Nick. It is kind of like collecting stuff.
Yeah.
It is a very collectible like hobby, and instead of spending dollars and finding that grail out in the store, you just grind your ass off, and that one day when you unlock that character after all those hours of grinding and finding gear pieces, it does feel good. It's like, yeah, I finally got him. Like, I'm working on gas right now, so General Anakin, and that's been a fucking slog. But when I get him, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, I can remember, like, when I had first started seriously playing, this was probably 2.5 years ago. I was sitting, like, I remember it was like pre-podcast, and I was sitting there, I'm like, Matt, I'm so close to CLS. I'm so close to Commander Luke Skywalker. And he's like, dude, you just got to grind. You just have to play the event over and over and over until RNG is on your side and you win. And that's what happened. Like, I probably played the event that day 50 times before RNG helped me, and I was able to
RNGesus.
Yeah, it was just, and then as soon as it hits and you get it, and you get that 7-star come up, you're like, fuck it, yes, I did it. And then you realize that you have this character at level 1, and you have to gear it all the way up to G12.
That's the best part. Yeah, you get that supreme high, and then you get a swift kick in the dick. to take you right off of that pedestal you put yourself on. So I love the game. I really do. I mean, the fan base is funny. You got big people always threatening to quit, bitching about how it's all about the whales. And I mean, if you want to spend thousands of dollars a month on this fucking game, then you should be in the top 50. Good for you. But in terms of if you just like Star Wars, collecting Star Wars characters, or just making progression towards something in life, you can't go wrong with Star Wars Galaxies of Heroes. You can't. You just can't. So
it just feels like this too, especially for our fan base. Like, our fan base is primarily, I mean, I don't want to say everybody is, but a lot of our fan base is built around like toy photography and toy collecting. Like, this game like really organically flows with that hobby, because 100%. With toy collecting and toy photography, you're working towards something, and you're working towards an ultimate goal, and then boom, you got it. You have this new figure that you can, use in your photography. With this, you do the same thing. You build towards it. And just like for me, it's like, okay, I built towards it. I finally got JKR, and now I can use him, and I can put him to use in arena or raids or whatever I'm doing. Like,
and that's a good point, because I could sit there and be like, hey, Nick, I mean, JKR was good like a year ago.
I know, yeah.
For arena, like to actually get ranking in arena, and the reason you want to rank in arena is so you can start farming gems, which is essentially the game's currency. But as Nick said, these days with all the other game modes they've added in after the fact, in particular Grand Arena Championships or Territory Wars, Territory Battles, you can now use these characters you've spent all this time to collect, and they will benefit you in getting more gear to give to other characters. And the grind continues. It is a never-ending circle, but it is one that I thoroughly enjoy. It's like every day without fail, that game's getting played.
Yep. Always something to do on it. So
give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah. Download it. Play it for free. If you want to give it some money, give it some money, but it's well worth it. A lot of fun characters to play in the Galaxy of Heroes holo table, with the Mandalorian ones as the newest one.
And if you got a big swinging dick these days, they have a $99 welcome to level 85 pack. You can literally just fire up the game as a noob, spend $100, and you already be at the highest level. So.
Yeah, and they give you so many characters and so much shit. Like,
it's hilarious.
You get essentially all of Phoenix Squadron free unlocked. You don't get them all 7-star, but at least you get them all free. And it leads you into unlocking the legendary characters. Like, once you get Phoenix Squadron all the way to 7, you can get Thrawn, and then from there you can get, the Chimera, and then all the shit that comes from it. So yeah, drop $100 on it. You don't even have to worry about half the grind. You literally start at the end game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just realized I need to start wearing my AirPods if we're doing videos, so I don't have my big ass cans on.
Dude, I was debating whether to wear my big headphones. So I have these in, and I keep fucking with them because, like, when my face gets expressive, they like loosen in my ears.
Well then, yeah, I'll probably stick with these.
So
I don't know. I think it looks good. If you had the headphones on with your bald head, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to try it out.
Next time, maybe. But we'll see. I got to figure out a way.
My little Star Wars fan's down here right now. It looks like she's... What are you doing, Bubba? Cleaning up?
No, my baby's hungry.
Oh, the baby's hungry? Okay.
A special appearance by Rey herself.
Yeah, unfortunately, my camera's not at a... Do you want to say hi to everybody? You want to come here and look at the camera? All right. This is my... everyone's probably heard about Charlie on the cast. There she is. This is my little Star Wars Bubba right here. My little Charlie Rey, right? A Princess Leia fan. All right, I'll let you go. I know you don't like the spotlight, so... Yeah, anyways, back to SWTS. Just give it a try, people. It's F2P. The worst thing you're going to do is have to lift your fat thumb up and delete the icon off your screen if you don't like it, so...
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
All right, next up we have some more Mando news, not necessarily in video game form, but we're already talking about fucking Season 3 of Mando, and we're not even watching Season 2 yet. That's how good this show is that they have greenlit Season 3 without Season 2 even airing. So
yeah, I guess... I don't know. I must have been bored last week when I threw this up there because honestly, Nick, this is one of those no shit Sherlock type of announcements, right?
Yeah.
I at least looped in something from MSW on Jamie Lee Curtis, but I mean, at this point in time, it should surprise no one that The Mandalorian is a show that is being greenlit for subsequent seasons.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to get a third season, of course. I mean, you could tell just the way season 1 went that this isn't a show that they're going to wrap up in 16 total episodes. I mean, this show's got legs, right, buddy? I mean, this show could go on for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Pedro still wants to be a part of it, and even if he doesn't, like I've given, like, my theory for season 2 that's definitely not going to happen is that the Mandalorian as a title could refer to any Mandalorian.
I still think that's a genius idea, but it's too genius for Star Wars.
Yeah. It's Disney would never do it, but yeah, I mean, there's no reason that this show needs to be like a limited 2 or 3 season run. You can continue to track these characters all the way up until the Age of the Resistance starts, and you're talking 40 years out probably from this timeline.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of room for this to grow and continue without running into currently existing Star Wars timeline. So awesome stuff.
Yeah,
here.
so I mean, it's good that Favreau is writing it out and all this stuff, and Doug. I mean, everyone should know Doug Chiang. I mean, he kind of came on the scene during the Phantom Menace, the prequel era, and he was one of George's main concept guys, and now he's gone on to be, I think, the creative director at Lucasfilm. So they're at work. They're kicking around some ideas, looking at some art, tossing out some narratives. The other thing in Mando, though, that we wanted to talk about, and I guess the reason I did end up running the No Shit Sherlock post, but we talked a few weeks ago, Jason Ward over at Making Star Wars dropped the rumor that he thought Jamie Lee Curtis was going to make an appearance in The Mandalorian, and he had some updates, and apparently she definitely was on set and went as far as getting a costume fitting. I guess his source told him that it went so far that they could make an action figure based on her character. But according to his source, they think the role may have fell through due to scheduling conflicts with Jamie Lee. So he's saying at this time he doesn't know if she'll be teased in season 2 for a bigger role in season 3, or if the role was scrapped altogether and given to someone else. But he is sticking to his guns that she was on set and at least was productioned up all the way to the point where she technically could have had an action figure.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, she definitely has a lot of, stuff on her plate right now. She has 2 fucking Halloween movies that one's in post and one's getting ready to start filming, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And then there's also a few other things out there on her IMDb page. So she's a very busy person in Hollywood right now. I would like to see her come back, though. I mean, I think it would be really cool if she did, do what's on her plate and then was able to make it back for season 3, or at least, have a cameo or a small part in the series, because she's a really great actress. And I think she could bring a lot to a New Republic style character.
I do. I mean, I think she looks Star Wars correct. We said that last week about Skarsgård,
Yeah.
She just looks like she could be in Star Wars, and as Nick said, I think she would be on the good guy side.
Yeah, I think she could play like an older Mon Mothma. I mean, if you figure, Mon Mothma still, she looked a little bit older in episode 6.
Poor Jamie Lee might be a little too old for Mon Mothma at that time now. I could see her being like a wise person that might have went through the rebellion, might know some things. Or she could just play like some crazy ass mob or bounty hunter person too. You never know. I mean, I think she's versatile within Star Wars. I don't see her being involved with the Remnant though.
No, not necessarily. I mean, the only person I brought up last time that she could fit in with the Remnant was an old EU, a Legends character called Ysane. It's Yssane Isard, and she was like a Grand Admiral that took over the Imperial Remnant after the fall of the Empire. But I do think that she would probably fit a little bit better on the New Republic / rebellion side as like one of the original founders of the New Republic or something like that, one of the first senators, something in that kind of realm.
I mean, she definitely has that I don't know, like political look to her, if you will, leader role. Maybe sanitized, all buttoned up, sitting there in the new Senate type of deal. But I don't know if the Mando would go that route. I think they want to keep it that kind of Wild West,
underworld,
right? But I mean, we got a pretty sterile episode in season 1 when they went to that New Republic prison ship. So.
Yeah.
You never know, man. I mean, I guess wherever the journey takes Din at this point, we know now he's not just kind of bumming around the galaxy hiding. He actually has a mission. He's been charged by the Armorer to find Yoda his flock, or the child, his flock. So who knows? He could definitely maybe get a little bit closer to those inner rim territories in season 2.
Yeah, for sure. So good stuff from the Mando, and we're all looking forward to season 2. Should be coming out soon here on October, right? That's our release date, October sometime. So October 2020. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, we don't have an official day, but so far they are sticking with October.
Yeah, I imagine that they probably haven't been too affected by all the COVID stuff. They were probably either finished filming. I think we had reported on filming wrap for season 2. So all they may need to do is some pickups if there's some reshoots that they missed, and then probably everything that they're doing right now is post work. So keep an eye out. October. No words on delays.
I would think if they had to delay. I mean, we've been locked down long enough now. I mean, it's almost 8 weeks.
Yeah, they would have announced.
Yeah, they would have let that fly by now. Yeah, so I'm thinking we're good. I think we're gonna get this one out. But future stuff, who the fuck knows? Yeah. I mean, talking to my stunt buddy who's been in Hollywood for 15 plus years, he's like, this shit ain't looking good in my arena. Bad enough that he went on unemployment. So
Oof, yeah, I mean that's fucking tough because, like you said, 8 weeks of lockdown at the very least so far, and that means no filming of any.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like
stunt guy.
Yeah, he's like at this point Hollywood may not even get back to working until end of 2020.
Yeah.
Just because I mean you got to think about what a production looks like. I mean you could try to do some social distancing, but not on camera. So
yeah, I know, right?
I mean until I guess everyone gets tested when they walk in, almost like a porn set. You know, you have to prove like I don't have COVID. You know, I don't have AIDS or gonorrhea or herpes. I can do this porn. It'll be the same thing. I don't have COVID-19. I can work on a Star Wars project. So
yeah. We'll see. But Disney's feeling confident enough that they may be greenlighting other series for live action series for Star Wars, and that's coming out of Variety. There's a story from them stating that Russian Doll, which is a Netflix series, it's like a dark comedy kind of comedic series on Netflix.
It's really good, by the way. I mean, I know some people will discredit it because women made it, but it's actually really, really good. It's funny, but it's also some good sci-fi type of Groundhog Day shit. Yeah,
so Leslie Headland is the co-creator of that, and she is rumored to be working on a Star Wars series for Disney Plus, live action. This is not an animated series, and this comes out of Variety. Variety is basically saying that it's a done deal, as Matt put in the post. But as we know, nothing is a done deal until fucking Disney and Lucasfilm come out and say, "Stay."
But it is like, don't get me wrong. I mean, if it's ran by someone like a Variety, we're probably gonna post it. Yeah, I've said before, like, I don't get into the rumors and shit. Like, outside of MSW, like if it's some fucking dumbass on Twitter that said something like this Noah Outlaw guy that keeps getting play on Star Wars Leaks Reddit, I'm not gonna do shit with that. Like, who is Noah Outlaw? I mean, he got some big play last week. Like, he's like, yeah, Gary Whitta and Dillinger are working on something. It's like,
Okay. So you're saying that a Star Wars writer is working on something.
Right.
That's not a leak. That's just...
I don't know, man. It's just sometimes it's like... the Star Wars fan personalities out there that get play and get exposure versus those that don't, a.k.a. the Star Wars Time Show bros... It blows my mind, man. It blows my fucking mind. It's just like, I don't know, are we not assholes enough that are just willing to go out there and just throw out bullshit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should just put up a rumor. Kathleen Kennedy is working on a new Star Wars project.
Yeah, or even better, like I know one that will get play. Just say Kathleen Kennedy fired.
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy exiting Lucasfilm at an undisclosed date.
There you go. Right. Yes. See, you know how to write some bullshit. Yeah. You throw out big ideas, but you don't provide any details. So you always have an escape hatch. You can always be like, well, see, I didn't guarantee it.
Yeah. We said it was an undisclosed date. It just hasn't happened yet. Like, it's just so much fucking bullshit. But anyway, Leslie Headland, the co-creator, Russian Doll. It's going to be interesting to see what she can cook up. Like, do you think that it will be like a more comedic focused Star Wars type of project?
I mean, it's already getting shit on. Our buddy Papa wasn't a huge fan.
Papa. It's okay.
It's fine. But because I think it is a female, and it's supposedly going to be a female-led cast, so immediately it's like, well, fuck this. They don't have dicks and balls, so it's not going to be awesome. It's not going to be like, yeah, give me liberty or give me death. I need my freedom. I want to go to a salon. I need tattoos.
We need to go to Fuddruckers.
Yeah, that type of mentality. That type of mentality. But I've seen a lot of play that because of the female-centric kind of tag this is getting, that this could be the Dr. Aphra project that was kind of rumored about a few months ago.
See, dude, that would be fucking sick. If this was a Dr. Aphra project, that would be awesome. And then you can't say like, oh, this is female-led, it's going to be shit. I mean, the lead character in Rogue One and the entire Disney, new trilogy was female-led. And like, those were really good movies. Like, I don't care what you have to say. Rogue One And at least The Force Awakens were fantastic movies that Disney made that were led by female characters. So like you gotta let go of that shit. First off, if that's your issue with it is that it's female led, then I don't know what to tell you. But this woman has proven to create good content, and if they are doing a Dr. Aphra series with her at the head of it, I think that would be fucking awesome. And
well, here's the one thing where that may not work, because they do. Variety is saying, at least, that it's set in a different part of the Star Wars timeline than most of the content available today.
Yeah, she would still fall in age.
Oh, I mean, Aphra's huge original trilogy. I mean, was Darth Vader's, I wouldn't say second hand, but almost. I mean, he used her for a lot of his little shady projects he had on the side.
Yeah.
Plus, she works a lot with Luke in the Rebels here and there. So she's a very interesting character and someone I would still like to see in a series. I don't know if this will be the one. But back to the girl stuff. I don't know why Star Wars fans, in particular men, don't like females in Star Wars. I mean, females are beautiful creatures, my friends.
Also, the best character in Star Wars history, arguably, is Princess Leia, like General Organa.
I mean, these days, look what fucking Ahsoka Tano is up to.
Right?
I mean, come on, let's get over this shit. I mean, if anything else, Rey is a very attractive young lady. Like, can we just agree on that, my friends? I mean, that isn't everything in life, but it just seems like if a woman is in a lead role in Star Wars, instantly it's like, fuck them, fuck that show, fuck that so lady, weird. She's a Mary Sue. It's like, I don't get it. But
I saw some Mary Sue talk about Ahsoka after this episode, and I just completely dismissed it. I was like,
I knew it. They can't help themselves. Even on like George Lucas blessed characters, they still can't help it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like this is literally this wasn't even Disney. Like Disney had nothing to do with this. Like this was all done.
This is a George Lucas character. George and Dave, man. I mean, Dave just went out. I don't know if anyone read or if you read it, Nick. I didn't post it because fuck them. But was it Variety or Entertainment? One of them did a big expose on the character of Ahsoka Tano and how she originated and where she's come. But at one point in time, George more or less had her in Attack of the Clones.
I mean, he should have fucking had her in Attack of the Clones.
She was going to be called Ashla. But then, like, for whatever reason, they pulled her out, and then that's when he's like, you know what? I want to give Anakin an apprentice. And Dave's like, what the fuck? That's crazy, but that's George. I mean, that's the type of shit he would just come up with. And now look at the character.
Yeah, sometimes George's crazy ideas hit, and sometimes they miss, and this one was for sure.
Well, yeah, I remember when it was announced that Anakin was going to have a Padawan. I'm like, what the fuck is he smoking now? Because this was still during, like, my prequel hate, fucking George ruined Star Wars, all that fun stuff. When I heard this, I was like, all right, I'm up for some new Star Wars. We'll give it a try. It's animated. It's different. It's not the prequels.
Bite-sized content.
Right, and then they're like, oh, Anakin's going to have a Padawan. I go, huh? That fucking bozo you just portrayed in the live action, he had a Padawan? Really?
I can only imagine your reaction to it when you were like, they're giving Anakin a Padawan and there's going to be a full-length animated movie coming out. You were probably like, this is bullshit.
Well, I was...
Fuck this.
It was... Yeah, I was skeptical, but again, I am a Star Wars junkie, so this was, 2008. We were 3 years removed from what we all thought was the last Star Wars movie we were ever going to get, so I was like, hey, fuck it. It's Star Wars. It's on the big screen. I'm going to give it a try. And I ended up liking the Clone Wars, and I love it now. I mean, look what it's turned into. But I don't know. It was an interesting time back then when George was throwing out some of these ideas. But Ahsoka is a George and Dave creation. Dave himself is a George Lucas creation. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He is George Lucas Jr. in every sense of the word, at least when it comes to telling Star Wars stories. So get over it.
Yep. So keep your eyes out, keep your ears out for any news about this new possible series coming to Disney Plus from Russian Doll co-creator Leslie Headland. And then we got some more. We're still on the Disney Plus train here, and we have some more news. This is official news. This isn't rumors. This isn't speculation. Official casting news from StarWars.com. And
but it did
Disney.
Confirm 2 of the rumors we talked about last week.
We did. So we talked about 2 of them, like you said, Matt, from Variety last week, about Stellan Skarsgård and Kyle Stoller being added to the Cassian Andor series. So those are confirmed via StarWars.com. And then we also have 2 other casting announcements for Cassian Andor. Genevieve O'Reilly, which is the girl who played Mon Mothma in Rogue One, behind me. She will be returning to the series as Mon Mothma, and there is another character being added, being played by Denise Gough. Gough. I don't know how you say her last name. She is going to be joining the series in a yet-to-be-revealed role. So you got 4 new characters, or 4 confirmed characters coming to Cassian Andor series. Stellan Skarsgård, Kyle Stoller, Genevieve O'Reilly, and Denise Gough.
Apparently this Denise she plays Yennefer in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the game.
Yes, in the actual game, not Yennefer in the TV series. But she also played a role in that Dead GOT prequel pilot. So there was, they basically made 2 Game of Thrones follow-up series. One of them got greenlit and one of them didn't. She was apparently in the one that did not get greenlit. So
looks like she's done like some video game stuff a lot, actually, early on.
Yeah, a lot of
voice work in video games.
Yep.
Star Wars
Dragon
Battlefront,
Quest, XCOM, yeah. A lot of stuff like that, Divinity.
Well, she's been fucking working, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, she puts in the time and the work, and, she's got a lot of stuff in production now, even, like TV series, short videos, video games, so... Working actress, I mean...
You think she could be a love interest for young Cassian?
I mean, she definitely could be, because we all know that Cassian in the movie is not a fan of close romantic relationships until the very end of the movie, where he gets fucking disintegrated by a blast from Death Star 1. So,
he forgot his suntan lotion.
Yeah, you could say that. Him and Jin both. So... it was actually... No,
they're trying to kill the coronavirus with light, right?
With light, with very powerful sunlight.
They got a transmission from our galaxy from Great Leader.
Yeah, they were like, oh, if you just drink this disinfectant or inject it, and then if you sit in a UV tanning salon bed for long enough.
Yeah, that was a deleted scene. We didn't get to see them doing their shots of bleach, but what they're doing when we see them die, they're trying to zap the virus with light.
That's right. So
yeah, and Tarkin just he used a little too much light.
Yeah, it's too powerful. One reactor was still too much. They probably should have went with a half reactor. So
I'm starting to think Tarkin should show up and just fucking zap Earth.
I know, right? If we see the Death Star, like fucking shadow, just start coming over us, we're like, oh, you know what? This makes sense.
Yeah, here we go.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Here we go.
So, Cassian Andor 2021 is likely what we're going to be.
Yeah, and your boy Gilroy's all over it now, huh?
Yeah, dude, Tony Gilroy is now treating this as his
Mr. I fucking hate Star Wars, but I'll gladly take work in Star Wars.
Yeah, and he's even got his brother in.
Oh yeah, nepotism left and right. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean Dan actually has some nerd cred behind him, because he worked on that aborted Superman movie, the Nicolas Cage one. He was
that crazy ass one. Yeah.
Like he came in and worked on that one, and then the other writers are Beau Willimon, who's most well known for House of Cards on Netflix, and then Steven Schiff.
He did Kong Skull Island. That's not bad.
Yeah, Skull Island's good. Steven Schiff did The Americans, Wall Street, the second Wall Street movie. So a lot of good writing talent on this show. So I'm expecting good things from it. Especially, I mean, look, we give Gilroy shit because he was a shithead when he first did.
Yeah, but he made some legit changes.
Yeah,
he's just a fucking cocksucker. I hate arrogant, fucking narcissistic dickwads.
He's a shithead, but he gave us that Vader scene, and you got only good things to say about that. So that's our Cassian news for this. For this cast. Nothing else that we know about. We don't even know the fucking name of the series yet. There's not even an official name. Even StarWars.com just refers to it as the Cassian Andor series.
There you go.
So
the Cassian, right? They'll just call it the Cassian.
Yeah, Star Wars, the Cassian.
All Star Wars live action shows will just be the and then the name of the character.
I think that fits now. I mean, we've seen success already, so why change the formula? Yeah. Now we're getting out of TV, out of TV land into movie land, and we're talking about Rise of Skywalker here. Just a quick PSA for you guys that are on the Disney Plus train. If you're not on the fucking Disney Plus train, I don't know what you're doing at this point, because that's where all the good content's coming, is Disney Plus. So,
these days for sure. I mean, with the Clone Wars and now with Star Wars Day, we're getting Tross.
Yep.
We're getting the Mando behind the scenes, Clone Wars closing out, but this is kind of a surprise, I think.
Yeah, so you're going to get Tross on May the 4th on Disney Plus. So for those of you who don't own it on digital, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because you're going to have the full 9-episode Skywalker saga available on Disney Plus on May the 4th. So if you want to do your binge, if you want to do it, the impossible watch through of all 9 in a row, in one sitting, you can do it on May the 4th.
Could you do it in a day straight? I bet it's pretty damn close, isn't it?
I think if you're clocking in at 2.5 hours per movie, so it's put you at it's like
500 hours divided by OT equals 65. Okay, times 4 divided by the street. Yeah, you're right.
You could do them all in one day, but you would literally be like midnight to 11 p.m. or really 10:35 p.m. It would be a run through.
It'd be a slog. It essentially be like living with a 4-year-old Star Wars fan that just wants to watch the same shit over and over.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you should do. It's like, you need to tell Charlie. It's like, Charlie, now that you're old enough to understand Star Wars, May the 4th is Star Wars Day. This is the day.
I'm trying to lay that out. Trust me. I'm trying to talk this household in, which is just myself, the little one, and my wife, that next Monday is a holiday.
Yeah.
And that we should observe it by at least taking a half day.
Yeah,
get up early, do all your work. Yeah, do all your work, and then enjoy the other part of the day to watch some Star Wars content. I mean, my psycho ass, I'm kind of bummed out about Star Wars Day, and that's only because I'm now going to have to do a heavy ass mental episode of Clone Wars Friday, and then 48 hours later, I'm going to have to fucking consume the series finale.
Last one. And
then get all the videos out for that. It's just there's work involved, which is fine. It's Star Wars work. But just knowing that we're going to get into some heavy-ass shit in episodes 11 and 12. Just don't know if I can take it without a week break, man. I was liking those week breaks to recover a little bit, so...
Especially with these final 4, I mean, these are all heavy.
Oh my god, dude! So. And we're getting to the Clone Wars talk at this point. This is what I've been looking forward to. But just final reminder: Tross hitting Disney Plus May the 4th. It's actually $10 off right now if you want to buy it digital. So suckers like Nick and I definitely took it up the butt on this one, but whatever. My kid has already watched it 5 times since we bought it, so well worth it. But I'll tell you something that's really worth your time these days, Nick, and that is the Clone Wars. Season 7, the final season. We got episode 10 this past week. This is the one that Whitwer was teasing that was gonna blow minds, and it paid off. Him and that other guy, they're saying this is the best Clone Wars you've ever seen, and I think that paid off as well. So as we do when Clone Wars is in season, we're going to go through, kind of pick apart some of its Easter eggs, talk about some of the iconic moments that Nick and I came across while watching it, and then we'll dive into some other things, kind of breaking it apart, in particular Maul. Maul moved me in episode 10 so much that I did a third video for Clone Wars Friday just to detail all the new things we learned about Maul. But before we get there, man, let's just kind of do what we do. Go through here and rattle off some of the Easter eggs first. And we've said it. You've seen it on the socials. You've probably said it yourself. This episode was a banger. I mean, it was fucking amazing. From the cinematography, from the music they chose, from the action, from the dialogue. It was... it's like, oh, the Star Wars gods love us again. They are showering us with their joy. It was fucking beautiful. Beautiful stuff.
It really, it set up what we know is coming towards the end of the series, and it also it made Maul an unforgettable character in Star Wars. And look, Maul was already like one of these, Star Wars fucking shooting stars. You see him in episode 1, everybody falls in love with him, and then they had the good sense to put him back in the Clone Wars series and even in Rebels. But like now, this thread, and the way not only that they handled him in story, in the actual storytelling of the series, but how they handled him in terms of the acting and the voice acting was magnificent.
He's fantastic, dude. He's fantastic.
Brought it to another level. So not only do you have Sam Witwer, who has voiced Maul since he's been brought into the TV series as the voice actor, but you have Ray Park, the guy who played Maul in episode 1, come in and do the mocap for this massive, incredible fight scene between Maul and Ahsoka. So you bring the two Mauls together again after their time together on Solo, just for that one little piece. You bring them back together, and it feels like Darth Maul it's the most important character in the Clone Wars era of Star Wars. Even though he's only in the first movie, him being here throughout the Clone Wars, through Rebels, he is just the quintessential Sith for this timeline, in my opinion now. He just fits so well. He's
fantastic. I mean, you got Sidious up there who's got the biggest dick in the galaxy, so you always got that guy in terms of who is the most impressive Sith during this area. But in terms of just a dark side bad guy villain character, he's a god. I mean, I don't want to go too far into my jizzing all over Maul talk. I'll save that for the Maul knew every detail. But top 3 for me at this point, if not top 2, Star Wars character.
I mean, because Dooku was just a pawn. He was literally just...
And so was Maul, as Maul self-owns, and that's the best part. Maul knew it all. He knew even more than Dooku. Dooku knew a lot of the plot, but he didn't know everything. You saw that look when he looked over at Palpatine, like, hey, man, he's going to cut my fucking head off, dude. Are you going to stop him? He's like, do it. And see ya. Right, so let's save all that for the Maul stuff, because I mean we could dedicate 30 minutes just to Maul and what we learned about him, how he thinks, how he plans, what he knows, and just his overall connection to the Force. So let's kind of do what we usually do. Start with the Easter eggs here. I actually wrote them down this time, Nick, so you can see them.
I got him right here. But number 1.
Starting off with Maul. I mean, we get right in the opening scene, Maul knew of the impending fall of the Republic to a T. I mean, as he is interrogating Ahsoka, you can see he even makes a twitch oh shit. Yeah, it's getting pretty fucking close now, actually. Now that you're here and things are progressing, it's almost time. And as we learn throughout the episode, I mean, he knows everything. He knows everything that Sidious has been up to. He knows why the clones were created. He knows how hard the Jedi have failed. He knows their time is over. And most importantly, the Anakin Skywalker shit was just
him knowing that Anakin was the key to the plan.
He's everything. I mean, and I think, I don't know if Star Wars fans really ever understood that about Sidious's long game. Yes, he was doing all this other shit, but Anakin Skywalker, the moment he saw that little boy, that's when he knew. He's like, okay, this is what I need to officially pull this little thing off that I've been planning, the grand plan, if you will, the Sith grand plan, which again was to eradicate the Jedi from the galaxy. It's insane. I mean, again, the Jedi and their hubris, they are so blinded to all of this. It also shows you how strong Sidious's control of the dark side was to cloud their vision, but he couldn't cloud Maul's vision because Maul believed and followed the dark side. Like it was almost like he was sniffing it like a drug, right? He's like, the dark side is so strong right now, and like that's how Maul could see everything that the Jedi could not. But it also shows you how fucking stupid they were. But anyways, we get that great reference there with Maul. Up next, this was another. I love that Filoni decided to do this to show us. Okay, hey guys, this episode is literally taking place soon after Anakin kills Dooku.
Yeah, like literally within the episode 3 timeline.
Right,
like,
before
here we are.
It was before Obi left for Utapau. I mean, it was right after that. So this is the first time we've ever had a Clone Wars episode showing content during the same timeline as Rots. So that was huge because he mentions Dooku death, Utapau mission, and the big one, the Council making a foolish decision and putting Anakin as a spy attached to Palpatine, not the Emperor yet.
I mean, just in that part, like the reaction from Ahsoka was so good. I mean,
right. I mean, again, it just shows you even how fucking stupid Kenobi was at this point in time. Like his belief in the Jedi, they always do everything right. Even he couldn't understand that making Anakin a spy against someone he considers a friend / father figure, it's just fucking stupid. And as you said, Ahsoka looked at Obi-Wan like, you guys will never learn. You are so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's like it's like you think that every Jedi is just so loyal to the Council that they'll do whatever you say.
Right.
Like you don't look at the intricacies of interpersonal relationships. You just assume that everybody lives by the code, and that's just not how it is.
And they don't have feelings. Yet Anakin makes it clear from the time he is a little boy that he is going to struggle with his feelings of attachment.
Oh yeah,
he can't shake that emotion. He can't shake that emotion yet. They still make this decision because they're all butthurt that Palpatine put him on the Council. They're like, oh yeah, you follow him and tell us everything he does. Yeah,
I mean, the second that he walked away from his mother and then ran back and said, I'm going to come back to free you.
Right.
You know that is his mission, that is his goal, is the attachment to his mother. And as soon as that moment in episode 2 happened, that's where it all went down. Like the one thing in his life that was always there, a consistent peace, once that was taken away from him, the dark side was just completely open inside of him.
Right. So, I mean, they're just fucking Jedi suck. They really do. They really do suck. That's why I love Maul was just talking mad shit in that throne room. Like, their time is over. They're fucking stupid. They're idiots. Join me. Up next, Maul does the Kylo Ren mind scan on clone Jesse. That was
a good one. Yeah,
that was a nice little nod. Vader's theme plays as Almec explains Skywalker was a target. Also, and they actually confirmed this in the official StarWars.com breakdown of this episode. His final words of Skywalker was a nod to Yoda.
Okay.
Dying in Jedi, right? Because he's like, there is another Skywalker. Right? So, same thing. Almec's like, Skywalker, he's dead. So I thought that was great. Plus, anytime I get a Williams theme popping up hinting at dark shit like Vader, like, I'll go for it. It makes the list. Up next, in this one, I'm still calling it. That was fucking Prince Zizor of the Black Sun. I know he's not canon anymore in StarWars.com. They didn't even mention it. They mentioned that Dryden Voss was there too. But I'm telling you, that was Zizor of the Black Sun as fucking Mag Krim of the Pikes and Dryden Voss of Crimson Dawn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. I mean, they may not come out and mention it now because, they don't want to go and canonize old things yet. But, yeah, it was 100%. 100% Prince Zizor.
Right? I mean, it's fucking Prince Zizor.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks just like him. Look at that.
Unless I'm pulling up. Change his fucking name. They're like, it's not Prince Zizor, it's Prince Mizor now. Guys, come on.
No, they really, I just looked at it. It was like StarWars.com, they kind of do breakdowns of the episode and highlight interesting things, and they threw out some weird name. I'm like, fuck you. It's Prince Zizor. So there you go. You people can see, you'll see it on the YouTube version. I pulled up just a Google search of Zizor, and okay, you looking at all these now? All right, now look at the Zizor part. It's like, come on. Give me a fucking break, people. That is Zizor right there. Look at that. That is motherfucking Zizor. But I mean, obviously, just another great little Easter egg nod. But it doubly confirms that Maul had Crimson Dawn up and running well before the fall of the Republic, which, for dorks like us is kind of cool lore to know about.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Shadow Syndicate was already together. Like, that entire collection of crime syndicates was already done.
The Shadow Collective, and Maul was their clear leader. I mean, again, knowing what he knows is about to happen with Sidious's plan, he says, hey, people, shit's about to get fucking nuts. Trust me, chill for a little bit, and we will be able to rise with more power and control than we've ever had.
I know, that was such a good, like that.
Yeah, he's like...
I mean, everything about Maul in this episode was good, but, like, those little nuggets, like, Filoni putting that shit in there, just, he has the next level Star Wars brain.
Yeah.
To be able to say, like, okay, yeah, all this is going on with Maul and Ahsoka, Fall of the Republic, everything like that, but we know that the Shadow Collective is coming, so let's put this in here and make sure that people realize that this is all building towards his ultimate ascendance.
It also shows, like, how those syndicates were able to grab so much power and infamy after the fall of the Republic during the rise of the Empire. I mean...
Yeah, Maul basically told him it's coming, get ready.
Yeah, the chaos. I mean, that's what he says. He's like, get ready for the chaos, my friends. So, I mean, all these references were just freaking brilliant so far. Maul, when he's talking to his Mauldalorians, in particular Gar and Rook, I mean, he directly mentions the Son of Dathomir comic book plot when he's like, you two came and saved me, because Dooku and Sidious lock his ass up. Right? I still don't know why Sidious never killed him, but we're going to get to that because a fan left a pretty interesting comment on our YouTube that kind of makes sense. Or I don't know if we already talked about this. Either way.
I know you mentioned it to me, but I don't think...
Yeah, sometimes I think I have conversations with you in my head, but we never really have them out in the open so other people can hear. But we'll talk about that during the mentioned segment. Same scene. He foreshadows the exact plight of the Mandalorians, saying, you are not the people that are going to sit down here and live like sewer rats. I mean, essentially trying to rally them up to get ready so they could go die so he could go do his stuff. Because, again, he is a dark side user. He is the leader of the Shadow Collective. He only cares about himself and his power, but he's great at using people. But, I mean, to me, Nick, that was a very clear line put in there from Filoni, like, hey, guess what's coming, you suckers, because you fell in with these bad guys, and now the Empire's going to take over, and Gar's going to side with them, and you all are going to end up living in sewers.
Oh, yeah, that was a good little nod.
And we actually, I'll save it for mentions. We got another great fan comment on that. Someone thinking that Rook may be someone we've seen in The Mandalorian. We talked about this as a huge one. Maul knowing about Skywalker's fall. I'm guessing that was the mind-blowing part. I mean, him knowing about Sidious's plan, to me, wasn't that huge, considering they already kind of had a fight in Clone Wars because Sidious saw Maul gaining power.
Yeah.
But just the fact that Darth Maul had a direct vision from the Force about Skywalker's fall to Vader and how that is the linchpin to Sidious's plan, that to me was huge because it motivates Maul to try to work with Ahsoka. Yeah,
I know. Like, I mean, we'll get to it a little bit later, but like Sam Witwer said an interesting thing in the Clone Wars download this week about, like, it's always more interesting when you have a meeting between two adversaries and the guy who's on the bad side has the better plan.
Right, and I made that point. I'm like, and this is how Sith kind of roll in Star Wars. They always tell the truth.
Yeah.
They always tell the good guys exactly what is happening. The problem is the good guys just can't get over that. They cannot look at a bad guy and trust them. And Ahsoka got very close. She was ready to join him. Like, how many join me moments have we had in Star Wars?
Yeah,
Typically they don't join, or when they join, bad fucking shit happens, right? I mean, Vader did it to his son. That didn't work out too well for Luke. Palpatine does it to Anakin. That doesn't work out too well for the galaxy. And now Maul does it to Ahsoka, and it didn't work out too well for Maul, and it's really not going to work out too well for Ahsoka either. But you're right. I mean, Sam was essentially saying, like, look, Maul told her the straight-up truth. His plan was going to be better than what she had in her head, but she just could not accept that Sky Guy, her man, her master, would become a true tear, and the reason Sidious would be able to fully get rid of the Jedi and take over the galaxy.
Yeah, the ultimate crushing blow to the Republic was going to be the one person that she looked at as like a brother,
right,
for most of her life. I mean, and that's hard for anybody to accept.
Of course, like I'm not sitting here like, oh, Ahsoka's so fucking stupid. I mean, clearly she only knows one side of the coin. The Jedi, she cannot see what Sidious is doing in the dark side of the Force. He literally has a barrier up. They can't see shit. Yoda says it himself. Was that in Clones?
Clouded by the dark side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like right at the end, he's like, how the fuck did this happen? And Yoda's like, I don't know. Fucking dark side, some strong shit.
Yeah.
we literally, he's got the veil over our eyes. So I'm not blaming her either, but Sam's right. I mean, if she would have went with Maul, who knows what would have happened? Maybe they would have stopped the fall of the Republic. We'll never know. But that's why this freaking episode was so good. Last one before we get in our top moments real quick. Of course, we got the homage to Maul's TPM lightsaber ignition where he brings the staff up and is like...
Yeah.
You know, he didn't get any nuts after that. And I didn't put it in here, but that was Ray Park.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
I mean, that to me, like watching the Clone Wars, you know, behind the scenes for this episode, like seeing Rey, like that may be one of my top moments. And it's not even like a direct, you know, something that happened directly in the episode. Like seeing that behind the scenes, seeing Ray Park take up Maul again in a combat sense, because yes, he played the live action version of Maul in Solo, but you didn't get to really see him do anything. Like all of those moves that you saw in the fight between Ahsoka and Maul, that was Ray Park as Maul, and that was, you know, an equally talented stunt person playing Ahsoka. I can't remember her name.
I think it was Lauren May.
Yeah, Lauren May Kim, or Lauren something like that. Lauren Kim. I mean, watching that behind the scenes and seeing like Ray Park literally fucking doing flips and corkscrews in the air and all the shit that he put into that.
It looked like he had a little beer gut, and he was still fucking flipping around like a boss. I mean, he definitely looks thicker than he did way back in the mid-'90s, which a lot of us do when 20 years of life passes us by. But dude can still move, and he even said that because of Maul's robo legs, that's why he was doing more of those like high torque movements and spin twists and kind of really bringing the pressure down with a lot of the jump moves.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I mean, that fight scene in general, I mean, it was such a fucking good scene, and it shows you that, one, Ahsoka is to a level in her training to where she can hang with a Sith Lord who at one point killed a Jedi Master. And you know, and you also get to see, and this is something again that Sam mentioned, like the vulnerability of Maul's mental state, especially given what's going on in the galaxy. Like, what is Maul fighting for at that point? And what is Ahsoka fighting for? And that's why that fight is so even, because the stakes were much higher for Ahsoka than they were for Maul. Maul was essentially fighting
for power.
For power, and Ahsoka is fighting against everything that Maul had just said
about her best friend.
Exactly, about the fall of her master, her brother, the closest person in her life. She's fighting against the idea that the only way to save the Republic is to team up with this once, you know, evil Sith Lord. Like, she has a purpose in life, and Maul really doesn't, and that's why that fight plays out the way that it does. And you know, for people pointing out, like, I mean, one of the things I saw online I thought was really fucking stupid was, like, they're standing, like, at the end of the fight, Ahsoka is disarmed. She's standing on that, like, fallen, like, they're both standing on, like, this half cut off piece of piping. And they're like, well, if Maul would have just cut in front of him, then Ahsoka would have fallen to her death, and that would have been the end of it. Maul's such a weak-minded character. I was like, it's just like, when people point out shit like that, one, it's just really dumb, because Maul is a mentally weak character, and we've kind of seen that, like, he knows shit, but like he
loses because of his rage. I mean, that's why he lost against young Kenobi. He got cocky. He was taunting them. He couldn't even envision that Kenobi would be able to flip behind him and kill him. He loses to old Kenobi again because of his rage. he didn't grow. I mean, there's a great video of Sam explaining that their final duel when Kenobi kills him and why Kenobi dispatches of him so easily.
Yeah,
it's because Maul is consumed by his rage. He can never think beyond that, and that's why he lost against Ahsoka. All she did was use his forward momentum against him. Like he was coming right at her, and she essentially just bull sidestepped him like ole and see you later.
Matador. and it's mental weakness. Like, you can say everything you want about Maul. Yes, he's intelligent, he's cunning, he knows how to manipulate people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have a mental weakness that leads to his downfall often, and he does. And it's that inability to see past what is right in front of him, like to think just the next step ahead. In terms of when he is in that situation, in a combat situation, he gets too caught up and he can't think straight. All he can think about is run through something, and if that doesn't work, then he doesn't know what to do. He's fucked.
Yeah, when it comes to fighting, I made a lot of kind of, it was like, when Maul was introduced in TPM, he was just kind of an animal. He was a beast.
Yeah.
That's why it was so refreshing to get him back in the Clone Wars. But in this episode in particular, we saw his mind. Like, this guy knows a lot. He knows how to control people. He knows how to motivate people. He knows how to get shit done. But as Nick is saying, when it comes to the heat of the battle, when it comes to if he's not getting his way, all he can focus on is his rage, and that's all he relies on. It's almost like he doesn't even rely on the Force anymore. He's just relying on that red he sees in his eyes, and all he can think is, take out whatever is in front of me. There is no reflection. You would never see a Darth Maul sit down and start to meditate in the middle of a duel like Qui-Gon Jinn to get recentered. And if you did, he probably would have kicked the shit out of fucking Ahsoka. I mean, he had her by the tails, if you will. Her sabers were gone. She was on a ledge. But because he was so pissed that she would not join him, right? That was the last thing, right? He made one more attempt. He's like, join me or die, motherfucker. This is it. And she, again, was like, never. And he's like, ah! And just charges her and wasn't thinking, couldn't foresee her defense, and see you later.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, he has this desire to have everybody fall by his blade. And, like, all it takes is, like, just think about the fight between Luke and Darth Vader in Episode 5. Like, at a certain point in that fight, Vader wasn't even trying to hit it. Like, when they get in the hallway right before, like, they get sucked out onto the platform where Luke jumps off, Vader literally just fucking drops his saber and is just using the Force to throw shit at him.
He's toying with him. I mean, he's like, this isn't even fair.
Maul would
my
never
son's
be
a
able
pussy.
to do that.
I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah, like, Maul needs to press the action and be in your face, and he needs to kill you with his blade, with his rage. He cannot let, tactics and intelligence win a battle.
Although, if let's say if his plan did get carried out and Anakin showed up there, those two fight very similarly in terms of they both fight with power, and some malice to it and some rage.
That would have been an incredible fight.
I think that would have been a fun fight because they really do just kind of go at it. Anakin fights, in my opinion, fights more like a dark side user than even his master Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I mean, he fights, just even in our stupid Swago game, not even generally, just regular Anakin, you get that guy leveled up and he is a fucking bulldozer. Yeah. He's got one AoE attack where he's just like double slash. You can wipe out a whole squad of 5. That's like, he fights with power just like Maul does. So it would have been a very interesting battle.
Yeah, that's why. But that's the thing is, like, that's why Maul would never be able to beat Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan thinks too much.
Exactly.
Like, he plans his attacks.
Do you think Maul could beat Anakin Skywalker?
I don't think so, because when it comes down to it, I think that Anakin would be smart enough to know that.
And just the pure power and the connection to the Force is just so much stronger.
The Force is, it's on his side, and he would eventually, like, use the Force in the course of the battle, and then once that happens, Maul would not be able to come back. Right. He would not, if it's not blade to blade, and I know that Maul technically used the Force in the fight with Obi-Wan. He fucking semi-Force pushed him back, but he couldn't do it the way that Anakin could. Anakin would beat. It would be a longer fight than it needed to be, because if Anakin would settle out of his rage to start with, he could probably kill him pretty easy. But with both of them being so heavily focused on, their anger and fighting in like a visceral way, it would probably go on for a while.
Okay.
And then,
do you think Darth Maul could beat a physically damaged Darth Vader? That's not the same character as Anakin Skywalker. He is a physically weakened version of Anakin.
I think Maul's too fast. I think Maul would kill him. Because, we've seen, again, this is in Legends, but, like, we've seen Jedi, like, pretty meager Jedi almost beat a weakened Vader, because he just doesn't have he doesn't have the quickness to be able to stop attacks from somebody
Well, even early on, the dude was still just trying to figure out his armor. Like, he was still trying to move like his former self, but he realized, half my body's gone.
Yeah,
I can't do what I used to do.
I think that Maul would easily dispatch Luke Skywalker, even like Episode 6 Luke Skywalker that walks into that fucking
look at that.
I think he would, just because Luke had no like, the thing is that Luke was fighting against his father, who was already in a weakened mental state, and he had no official training, and he was going against somebody who was in a very diminished state, mentally and physically. He's not only fighting his son, which he won't admit that he cares about, but he does, and he doesn't want to kill him. And Darth Vader could not stand up to the vicious attack that Luke threw at him at the end. Like, just
you're right. You're right.
Pretty standard overhead slashes and powerful attacks. Like, he crumbled under that. Could you imagine if Darth Maul came at him fucking flipping and like weaving in and out of his attack?
Let's face it, Maul can essentially move like Yoda with a lightsaber, but he's normal size.
Yeah, like Maul would cut him up. Like he would find openings in that defense and he would cut him to pieces. Like full-fledged Anakin Skywalker, like right prior to the fall, like that, right when he fell, that Anakin Skywalker would give Maul trouble. Like before he got to Mustafar, before he got to Mustafar and before he fought Obi-Wan, that he
let's say we're running our Star Wars combat arena and we make the rules, and they could only use the Force. Vader or Maul? Still Maul?
Vader, Maul?
Yeah. They can only use Force. No lightsaber, no physical, just Force.
I think it's Vader still. Like even as much Force power as he lost by losing,
he's still made of the Force. I'm with you.
Yeah, 75% of his limbs are gone. He still beats him in Force power alone.
Okay, but I'm kind of with you. If it was just a lightsaber battle, I think Maul could take out Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just the guy has just his attack. The way that he attacks is so dynamic, and the only thing that beats him is foresight. Is just the ability.
Being calm, not being fucking full of rage, which we know Vader is. So it would probably be a good fight. These are always fun conversations. I like this type of stuff, but I don't know, man. Maul. That's all I can say about episode 10 here, The Phantom Apprentice, which now we know why that was titled that way. It was actually, I was making fun of it last week, but it's a pretty clever title because let's face it, Maul was trying to bring Ahsoka in as an apprentice / partner, but let's kind of we've talked about our eggs. Let's go through some of the top moments before we get into just more Maul talk, because I love the Maul right now. We've probably already talked about a lot of these tops ones. I mean, the first top I had written down when I first viewed the episode, Nick, was the Kenobi tying in all those Rots moments. I just like weaving the live action in with this animation, and as we've been discussing it, by episode 12, I think these last 4 episodes of Clone Wars will be a very fine replacement for Revenge of the Sith if you do not want to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So I love that Kenobi kind of brought the timelines together. We talked about this, so no reason to keep going into it, but Ahsoka being able to realize that Anakin's mission as a spy was just fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. something we haven't talked about, and I think this was huge, and I'm glad they showed this, but the fact that Kenobi specifically pulled her aside and said, hey, I think Anakin could really talk to you right now. Yeah. Like, you could almost sense that Obi-Wan was starting to feel like this shit could go sideways with Anakin and Palpatine. So maybe if Ahsoka talks to him, because he's never going to listen to me. I'm always his big brother, dad, evil Jedi Council guy. So maybe if Ahsoka can talk to him, it would help. But what happens? Maul, she gets called away. So that could have been the moment where she potentially herself saves the galaxy just by saying something to Sky Guy. But as we know, that it's not meant to be. So I'm glad that we kind of got to see that. Why didn't she ever get to talk to him again?
Yeah, and I mean that because I'm going through and watching Rebels, and like, you know, that scene when they're on Malachor, in that moment where Vader is taught, like, she splits the helmet, she sees his face, and then he talks to her, like, you realize that a conversation from Ahsoka at the right time literally could have saved his life. Yeah,
because doesn't he, I mean, as all shitheads do, doesn't he blame her essentially? Like, where were you? Why did you leave me, essentially?
Yeah, that's almost exactly what he said. He's like, why did you abandon me? Like, where were you when I needed you?
What a fucking baby. That's so Vader, too, though. Like, pussy Vader. That's like live action pussy ass Anakin Skywalker right there.
Because it's just, he does not blame himself for what happened to him. Like,
hell no.
It is everybody else's fault, except it's Obi-Wan's fault.
Yep, Obi-Wan held him back.
Yeah, it's Ahsoka's fault. It's whoever's fault was around him. It was the Jedi Council's fault because they didn't make him a master. It was all of these different things, but it was never his fault.
Sounds like another powerful leader right now that we know about, at least here in the States. But he is, man. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because, and it does tie into, I mean, I really think if she would have had that conversation, we don't get Darth Vader. So just Filoni, you are the fucking man. Let me say that one more time.
Oh, yeah.
What a fucking pimp with the shit he weaves in. Just little shit like that. Almost a throwaway moment, you know? It's like, beautiful stuff. The Vader theme with Almac, we talked about that. Mo. Hey, Mo. Larry, Curly. Maul knows all, and how he was a pawn. You know, when he's talking, he's like, I was a pawn. Dooku was a pawn. I see it all now. Blah, blah, blah. We loved all that, but we'll save that for the Maul talk. When Bo runs in and bull rushes Maul, and he's just fucking sitting there with his leg up on the throne and just literally flicks.
Yeah.
Flicks her bolts to where they bend, and then he force chokes her. He's like, my lady has no way to treat your ruler of whatever. It's fucking beautiful.
That was I love that guy. To TLJ Throne Room, when Snoke is just sitting on the throne, and like Rey goes to it's the same thing. It's actually a direct mirroring, because Rey runs at him with her lightsaber ignited, and he literally just goes like this with his hand and throws her aside.
Yeah, someone on the Easter egg video was trying to bust my balls that I didn't say that scene was similar to the Bespin scene when they walk in and see Vader. I'm like, nah, I didn't.
I don't think it is.
I didn't really get that.
Yeah, it's way more spot on to the TLJ Throne Room, where literally the same thing happens. Rey runs at fucking Snoke, lightsaber ignited, and he literally does the same thing as Maul. He just lifts a hand up, throws her to the side, and even does the same thing with her lightsaber. Like, he takes the lightsaber and flicks it around and makes it hit her in the back of the head. Like, that is almost a direct parallel to the TLJ Throne Room scene. So yeah, I like that. That was a good one.
And obviously, Maul trying to get Ahsoka to help him, that was surprising to me. I mean, we learned ultimately that Maul did all of this because he knew what Sidious was about to do. He staged this shit on Mandalore. He wanted the Jedi to come, but he wanted Kenobi to bring Anakin. That was very interesting. And then the fact that he does the join me moment, an iconic moment now in Star Wars. A lot of times where the bad guys kind of reach out to good people to have them join them. And he tells her all the truth, everything everything, even about Anakin. But like all the Jedi, she cannot believe it. So that kind of falls out. And like Sam Witwer said, in this one example, the bad guy's plan was the right plan.
Yeah.
The actual duel, I mean, come on. I know it's animated, so it's always going to look a little more flashy, clean, and crisp than a live-action fight, but is there a better duel in Star Wars now outside of maybe what we get in TPM?
Man, dude, it's tough. I mean, this fight was so good. I mean, it had everything that you wanted to see from a Star Wars lightsaber duel. And I mean, Filoni said as much, but he kind of left it limited to the animated stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is by far the best animated series lightsaber duel that we've ever seen.
I even think live action it's up there. I mean, if not number one, I mean, original trilogy outside the emotional Jedi fight, it's slapsticks, right? You might as well fucking play tummy sticks with each other. Prequel, it's the rave, right? Rave lightsabers, just that type of stuff. And don't come at me that Kenobi's and Skywalker's duel is amazing. It's the best. It's absolutely is awful. It's awful. It's a fucking meme, for Christ's sake, right? I mean, one of the biggest memes in Star Wars is the high ground because of that fucking duel.
It's
okay? What's going on? Yes, that's very impactful to Star Wars overall, but the duel itself is a joke. They sit there and literally do pinwheel sabers at each other's fucking face. So it might look neat because it's in lava and shit, but it's stupid. Like, the choreography is just dumb. Ask any stunt fighter out there. They will tell you the truth. And then outside of that, it's got to be the Phantom Menace with Maul yet again taking on Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, what am I missing? Like,
I mean, I do like the Rey Kylo fight scene at the end of, well, not the end, but like kind of like the middle end of Rots, where they're fighting on the wreckage of the Death Star 2. I mean, it's not a flashy
Tross
fight
you're
scene.
Talking about?
Yeah. It's not a flashy fight scene because these two...
No, I'll give you that. You're talking when they're fighting in the ocean?
Yeah.
When it essentially is mirroring the lava fight, but with water?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. It's better than the Skywalker Kenobi duel.
Yeah, I think it's impact. It carries that impact, and the fighting is much more. It's much more realistic. It's slow. Like, the thing about Age of Resistance fights is they're slower, and it's the same reason that they're slow in the original trilogy. I mean, outside of the fact that fucking the real world implications of everything, it's the fact that during that period of time there was no official training for any of this. Like, Kylo had training to a limited degree from Luke, but he was only there for a few years. Right. He went there when he was like 10 years old, 10 years old.
Basically reading books on the sword forms and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah. And then Rey never had formal training in lightsaber combat, so that's why their duels look more like OT duels than they do look like prequel trilogy duels, because they were never formally trained.
Well, yeah, their duels, they brought power, especially in Tross. I mean, it looks like Rey and Kylo are swinging sledges at each other.
Yeah, they're like trying to beat each other into submission because they don't really have a form. Like, they don't have a form like, fucking like Kenobi used Form 3 and fucking, Yoda used Form 5. Like, that didn't exist anymore. Like, yes, you could read about them, like you said, but like taking what's in a book about a form and trying to put it into practice is almost impossible if you don't have somebody showing you how to do these things.
Very wise. It's a very wise take on that one.
So that's but
it's like I said, though. I mean, in terms of just like flash and speed and power, what we saw in the Phantom Apprentice, not Menace. I mean, it's up there. I mean, we're talking top 3 Star Wars lightsaber fights, at least in my head.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously the last top moment for me was the end when he gets captured, and how just the look of rage and terror of, fuck, you guys don't fucking get it. You have no clue what you're doing. This is fucked.
It's the panic and, like you said, the terror. Like, he realizes, like, oh no, this is it. I'm captured now, and that means that what I see is going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's a rage tear. It's not like he's like ooh, it's like fuck. How could you guys do this, you fucking idiots?
Yep.
I just love it. I mean, he's just like, again, he's telling us everything. He's telling them everything. Like, if you would have just listened to me, we could take out Sidious, and then, I could do what I want with the galaxy, or at least grab more power. So, top moments there are fantastic. I mean, we talked about a lot of the Maul stuff, Nick. After that episode, he has skyrocketed up in my rankings of all-time favorite characters, and I'm trying to think at this point where he belongs, and I think it's in the 2 spot. Anakin Vader's always going to be my number 1.
Yeah.
It's why the prequels were so rough on me, in particular Rots. We know this story now well. I love that guy. I love Vader. I love Anakin. It just... Ugh. But... I think after The Phantom Apprentice, Maul is now my second favorite Star Wars character of all time.
Dark side character or all time?
I'm thinking all time, brother.
Wow. Okay.
I'm kind of Homer for the dark side. It's not like I love bad guys and shady shit to happen. Just even as a kid, and we talked about this before, I've always been drawn to their aesthetic, the way they look, the dark clothes, the reds, all that shit. But I mean, if you think about what he showed us in this episode, he knew everything. He knows more about the Force and how to use it than you could argue some of the Jedi Masters of this era. His impassioned plea to Ahsoka, everything he knew about Anakin and how he wanted to take him out. It really, at least for me, it made me see the character in a whole different light. He was no longer just this rage-fueled beast that relied more on his power and the Force than his brains. And yes, we talked about he's got a weak mind. I think that's more reserved for when it comes to fighting and dealing with his emotions. When it comes to planning, strategy, and whatnot, I mean, he's right up there with fucking Sidious, right?
Yeah, he's a master strategist, and you could probably say that the years of tutelage under Sidious, under Palpatine, helped him develop those skills and be able to essentially go from a period of time to where he was thought dead to leading the biggest crime syndicate in the galaxy. I mean, that took a level of mental fortitude and just planning and leadership ability to like manipulative leadership ability to tell people, to be able to take an entire planet of Mandalorians, and yes, you take them by force, but then some of them remain loyal to you. Like,
well, they love them.
Yeah, like literally the Mauldalorians were fanatical towards their feelings about Maul. Like they gave up, they basically forsake themselves as Mandalorians and threw that credo away to follow Maul. And for a Sith to be able to do that to people like the Mandalorians is incredible. So, I mean, in terms of rankings, he's definitely, I mean, I'd have to go through and do a lot of thinking about this, but he's definitely top 5.
Well, you love your good guys, so I'm sure you got some Lukes up there, some Leias.
I do. I mean, like, I just can't, like, Luke Skywalker. I mean, Han Solo, a lot of people love Han Solo, but he was never, like, a top.
Oh, like, I'm with you. I mean, that's why I loved the Solo movie so much. It kind of gave me
more reason to like
Exactly.
Yeah. Because Han was very one-dimensional from what you saw in the original trilogy. I know he had a lot of character growth and stuff like that, but like Han was Han, and that's who he was, and he never really changed other than his thoughts around the rebellion.
I just always looked at him as the wise guy, smart-ass asshole.
Yeah. And then Solo gives you more context. Like, to me, like, I think my favorite characters, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, like, Leia has to be up there just because of her, God, like her ability to remain calm under pressure and her leadership ability, what she instilled in people to follow her and to believe in her, and everything that she did from the time that she was a child, like literally a child coming up and joining the Senate and starting the rebellion and then forming the resistance and everything. Like Leia has to be a top 3 character.
Ahsoka?
I mean,
Ahsoka's up there now.
Ahsoka's in the conversation as well, dude.
I think she's in my top 5. I mean, I just threw out 2, Maul and Vader, but I don't know. I mean, this episode, like I said, I teased earlier, it actually cost me money, this episode. Because after seeing it, I would go out to Sideshow Toys. It's like, I got to pre-order that speeder bike set that, Nick and I talked about earlier. And when I was on there, I was looking at all the other available Star Wars Hot Toys, and I was reminded of the fact that they are coming out with a Maul figure based on his appearance in Solo.
Oh, wow, okay.
And at first, I was like, you know what? I got the 1/6 scale Maul from TPM. He looks fucking badass. People like my shots when I take shots of him. I'm good. But after this episode, Nick, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking all in on Maul at this point, just like I would be with anything Vader releasing. So I pre-ordered that motherfucker now too. So I think that was like a $270 bill, just based on watching a cartoon of Star Wars.
I mean, you did say that this was an expensive weekend for you in terms of.
But because of this episode, I'm not fucking kidding around. I have a whole new loyalty to Maul and allegiance to Maul. He is my guy. So I have to get his other version, because they didn't at least make him look different based on Solo. He looks a little older. The robes are different, so I could justify buying another version of Maul. But I kind of needed this episode to remind me of how great this character actually is.
I mean, our designer for our logo used Darth Maul Episode 1 as the inspiration behind your clothing.
There you go. So it was all meant to be. It's kismet, if you will. But I don't know, man. I love the guy now. I was very impressed. I love that this episode showed us that he was more than just kind of a raging beast. He had the ability to plan. He had the ability to wait for these plans to play out. I mean, let's be real. He orchestrated enough nonsense in the galaxy to get the Mandalorians to leave their planet and find a Jedi to come back and bring the Republic to Mandalore. I mean, something they even reference in this episode. Bo is already like, hey, Ahsoka, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They just got there and are helping him get Maul, and they're already like, we need the Republic out of here. Go, go, go. You guys suck. But Maul did enough nonsense to motivate someone like Bo to bring in an outside force to get rid of him. And that was all his plan, as he explained. He could care less about Mandalore. He didn't give a fuck. He did all of that to get Anakin Skywalker on planet to kill him. That is impressive. That is Sidious level game planning. And that is why I love this guy now. I mean, he's more than an animal. He is a strategist, a tactician, and a formidable warrior. Plus, he looks badass. I mean, come on.
He's the coolest looking Sith.
So,
for sure.
If you want to check out, I had a lot more to say on Maul, but I did a full video. You can check that out on youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. You should already have it bookmarked with notifications turned on. I'm talking to you, Greg. All right, dude. This is we're going for a marathon here.
I know, right? I mean, we talked a lot about this already. The behind the scenes video, Ray Park.
I didn't even pop that up. Just watch it. It's on StarWarsTime.net. Yeah. The other one I was going to talk real quickly, man. I can tell we've been on this long with no breaks because my brain's starting to make my mouth not form words anymore. But we did it real quickly. We got a clip from Shattered, which is going to be S7E10 of the Clone Wars. Nothing we really have to go into. We told you a few weeks back that episode 11 would be the Order 66 episode. And what the clip kind of showed us is, I'm assuming this is taking place early on, but it's very eerie the way this clip plays out. But Ahsoka and Rex are on the bridge of a Republic star cruiser, and they're kind of talking about the mission, the success, and the Clone Wars. And Ahsoka's like, man, the Jedi, we're not really supposed to be warriors. And Rex is like, yeah, but without the war, we would have never existed, and I'm awesome, and you love me. So they're kind of reminiscing.
Yeah.
But as a fan, we know what's about to happen once they make that jump to hyperspace, right? I mean, we know any minute now he's going to be pulling up those pucks going, execute Order 66.
Oh, yeah.
And shit's going to get nuts. I mean, just right here in the caption, again, Nick and I told you this all along. That's why you got to be following the motherfucking Star Wars Time show. After successfully capturing Maul on Mandalore, Ahsoka plans to deliver him to the Jedi Council on Coruscant. When Order 66 is declared in the midst of her journey, her world is turned upside down. Friends become foes, and enemies become allies and shattered this Friday, May 1st.
Enemies become allies. I called that a
There
while
you go.
ago.
That's something else we called in particular, Nick. I mean, I think we reinforced it last week, didn't we? That
oh yeah.
I mean, Ahsoka and Maul are teaming up, my friends. They're at least going to be helping each other get away from these fucking murderous clones. So
yeah.
I guess, Nick, and things are screwy because of season 6 and what we know in Rebels. But at this point, are you in the camp where you believe Rex already has his chip removed? Or is that something we're going to see this week?
I mean, going into it, I thought that this would, like, it was already gone. He was either already gone, disabled, or something like something, or he fights against it, because you do hear about clones who, like, can go against their programming, or there were clones during Order 66, at least in Legends, that like they heard the order and they just didn't do it.
Well, hell, dude, in the Clone Wars itself, there's an arc on this, right? Because one of the clones, the chip starts to malfunction. He starts fucking shooting Jedi already. Yeah. And this is how I think Fives ends up getting killed, because he's like, yo, what the fuck? He tells Anakin in Palpatine, and Anakin, of course, like a Jedi, is like, you're full of shit. Palpatine would never do something like that. And I think they have Fives murdered, but I believe Rex caught wind of that, and I don't know if they ever show it in season 6, but I'm like you. I'm of the thinking that he's already popped that out based on what he experienced with that clone malfunctioning and his buddy Fives kind of tipping him off.
Yeah, and then like even going into Echo, like Echo's probably in the same situation as well, where either his chip is like non-functional anymore because of what the Separatists did to him.
I mean, just look what the Techno Union did to the motherfucker. We got to see. I mean, I'm still holding on to hope that we're going to see the Bad Batch show up here and be the true saviors of Rex and Ahsoka, probably sacrificing themselves. But if anyone would know about the chip at this point and can tell Rex, it would be Echo. Yeah,
for sure. So, I mean, this is the penultimate episode. So you got this one, then you got one more, and this is gonna be like the fucking heartstrings. Like,
this is the one. Shit. Remember when Whitwer gave us kind of 3 quotes to describe the final 3? 10 was mind blowing. 11, this is the one you're gonna see shit you've never seen before in Star Wars. Now, is that Ahsoka teaming up with Maul, like a Jedi teaming up with a Sith? Is that what he's talking about?
I mean, I think it could be multiple things. I think it could be that. I think it could be because you've never seen clones disobey their programming before.
Okay, yeah. So you're speculating maybe we do see Rex with chip in head, but because of his bond with Ahsoka, he may be able to kind of fight it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a possibility. And then, I mean, I don't know what else, what else haven't you seen in Star Wars before?
I feel like now, the way this clip was released here, that the Order may get carried out as they're on that Star Destroyer full of fucking clones, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. Like, if it goes down before they, like, jump out of hyperspace into Coruscant, they're literally going to be fighting an entire ship full of clones.
Yeah.
When they come. On the way there.
I think that'd be fucking wild. I mean, I'm almost kind of hoping for that, but there is a part of me that would like to see more of 66 playing out in the streets of Coruscant as well, because we didn't really get to see much of it outside of Anakin's march with the 501 to the temple, and then kind of after the Order, we got to see Yoda and Kenobi taking out the clones, defending the temple to kill any Jedi that were coming back to the beacon. Yeah. But we never really got to see if there was any other sorts of crazy, insane chaos going on Coruscant once 66 went down, or if it was just a big party like the Senate scene. Like they were, we could essentially see the people of Coruscant celebrating that the Jedi have finally been exposed and Lord Palpatine has saved us all, right?
I mean, if you go by what was said early on in this series by Rafa and Trace, then there could be a lot of celebration in the city because people will be like, look, I told you the Jedi were bad.
Exactly.
We knew all along, and now we're being vindicated for all the shit that's happened to us because of the Jedi. And that's how they instill that loyalty into Coruscant. Like, the Emperor sells it as like, I've listened to you guys and I rooted out this corruption.
Heck yeah.
It will no longer
happen. I mean, you saw how they celebrate giving him Emperor powers and dissolving the Republic. So you have to, I know as fans, we're all kind of bummed out because we know bad shit is happening. But you got to remember, in the galaxy, the way Sidious/Palpatine positioned this whole fucking war was to sell out and throw the Jedi under the bus. That was the main fucking goal. He knew he couldn't just go out and kill them all himself or with an apprentice. He had to cook something up to shit on their image to the galaxy and also use war to spread them out, kill them through war, and then ultimately clean them up with his homeboy Vader.
Oh, yeah. So
it's good shit. Yeah, I think the thing I'm most interested in 11 here, Shattered, is seeing the Ahsoka Rex and how that's going to play out, and then obviously Maul. So
yeah, I want to see how the Maul part of this comes into it. Like, do they literally just like let him free and say like, look, we got to get through this together, or does he like convince them? Like, you need me. Like, if you fight without me, you're going to die. You need me.
Well, here's some interesting things, and we'll see, because who knows, but we did get some stills for the episode, and I still think this is just how they have him loaded up on Mandalore, but he's essentially in a casket, locked down with just a window for his face, and it almost looks like they have him in stasis.
Yeah, it kind of does.
So I think that's what they're probably going to load him up in. But yeah, I'm with you. I ultimately think Ahsoka and maybe Rex, once he gets his shit figured out, they're going to have to let him out. Yeah, they're just, if they're on that ship, there's no way she's going to be able to defend herself against how many hundreds of clones on there.
Yeah, I know. You have a full, if it's a Star Destroyer, if it's a Star Destroyer, not at this time. If it's like a full cruiser with a full complement of fucking TIE fighters on there, or not TIE fighters, clone X-wings. There's no way it could.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, just on the bridge, there's probably 10 officer clones.
Yeah,
they're going to be pulling out their fucking pistols too. I mean, it's not like only the grunt clones got the chip; they all got it. So this is going to be very interesting. As Whitwer said, we're going to see stuff we've never seen before, so I'll keep my eye out for that. And I will be breaking this motherfucker down early in the morning on Friday, May the 1st, so keep those eyes, fingers, everything you need to consume it glued to youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show.
There we go.
All right, man, so we're going to get into the top 5, but this week we have a few mentions that could cause a few more discussions. I know we're going long here, so we've talked about some of these. I'll try to limit, but first one here, this is from Ward Lafferty, coming from YouTube, and he has an interesting theory on how this episode might have shed some light on who the armorer is in The Mandalorian. And he said, long have I suspected Caste as the armorer. So Rook Caste, the female that we saw with Maul, as being the one that becomes the armorer. And I'm like, that's a very interesting take. And it could work because, yes, she kind of sold Mandalore out, but she could also be someone, especially with Maul essentially looking right at her when he's talking about Mandalorians becoming sewer rats. She could be someone that regrets earlier choices in life.
Yeah.
And kind of takes it upon herself to run these coverts, or the covert we saw her in with Din. So Ward's speculating that Rook Caste is the armorer from The Mandalorian.
I mean, you never see her with Gar Saxon and the Imperial Super Commandos in Rebels, do you?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I don't think you do. So, I mean, we know that Gar stays, as loyal to the Empire as he could. But yeah, you never get to see Rook again. So that's an interesting take on it. And I wonder if I don't think we'll ever get a reveal of that character officially. Like, if give her a name outside of the armor on The Mandalorian, but I think that is an interesting.
Yeah, it was a cool take, and I'm with you. I don't think the armorer ever needs to be named. It'd almost be better if she stays a mystery, because it's not like every character in Star Wars has to be related to old Star Wars. George kind of got himself in the knots with the prequels to make all those ties, with Boba Fett and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a very interesting take, and it's not something that I'm just like, oh, that's fucking stupid. I mean, it could very well happen, and it would just be another awesome Filoni connection, right? I mean,
yeah,
it would be very Filoni if it happened. So thanks for that one, Ward. We got Corinne here saying that in my egg video, I missed that when Ahsoka blows Maul through the glass window, Palpatine is simultaneously doing that to Mace. Maybe.
Oh, is it? It could be. No,
Maybe.
It's not simultaneous yet.
Maybe.
But it's very similar. It's a very similar situation.
Right. So I was like, hey, thumbs up. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
What's this one here? This comes from Ed Skywalker, and he was talking about Jesse. So he was saying he thinks Jesse is going to be he's going to execute Order 66, and in all confusion, Maul will escape. As he and Ahsoka are carrying lightsabers, the clones will turn on both of them. Kind of stuff you and I were talking about, right? Like, the clones will probably look at Maul as a Force user and want to fucking kill him anyways.
Yeah.
The clones will turn on both of them. Ahsoka reminds Rex of all their missions together as he and his inhibitor chip struggle for control. When Rex removes it, he and Ahsoka will escape. And I was like, hey, Ed, that's kind of how we're thinking too.
Yeah.
But it's the whole inhibitor thing. And I do like the idea of Jesse, because, Maul preyed on Jesse in this episode. He was scanning his mind. I still contend that Maul even knows that Order 66 was coming, although we have another comment here I'm going to bring up where someone was arguing that point. So, yeah, I could see maybe Jesse playing a role here. Maybe he's the first one that starts to twitch out a little bit, and maybe tries to fight it. Maybe some of Maul's mind fucking screwed the chip up. I don't know, but you and I, we've kind of been talking about Ahsoka and Maul teaming up, so our buddy Ed Skywalker here is one with the Force, and the Force is with him. And then we have Cheese 1. My prediction is that Jesse will not take out his inhibitor chip and turn on... okay. Yes. So yeah. I could see Jesse, like we just said, being the first one to kind of start things off.
Yeah.
Because it would be tragic to have to see Rex or Ahsoka take out Jesse, right? I mean, he's one of the names, so...
Emotional tie.
Yeah, good stuff here, fans. This is what we want, the comments. And then here's kind of last one from the YouTube crowd. And this comes from Da-O-L. And he was kind of arguing with me that Maul didn't want the power for himself. He just wanted to save the galaxy. Mostly to get back at Sidious, like revenge. I was like, okay. And because he fears what Sidious is going to do with all that power. He also is saying he doesn't agree that Maul knew every detail, in particular the Order 66.
I mean, one, I don't think that Maul was doing it only to stop Sidious from taking over the galaxy. He definitely had dual purposes.
Oh, yes.
Because he realized, if I stop this, then I can easily usurp that position of power and, make myself a more powerful force in this galaxy.
Yeah,
if I can
maybe not
Sidious.
even like an emperor, right? But just you get rid of Sidious and Maul can take as much power as he wants for himself.
Yeah, so I think it was dual purposes there. He definitely wanted revenge against Sidious for, his decision to essentially kill him and kill his brother. To use him,
yeah. I mean, he was a fucking pawn from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Maul realized. He's like, I had always been a pawn, and it's just now clicking.
Yeah, that definitely eats at him. So he wants to get back, but I don't think that a lack of power, grab was in the future.
Oh no, I kind of pros as like, let's be real. He was teaming up with Ahsoka to help him take out Sidious. It's not like he was wanting to become a hero and a Jedi.
Yeah.
He wanted to get rid of another power source in the galaxy to kind of free up him to do more of whatever the fuck he wants.
Exactly.
So the other point here, what do you think? Do you think Maul knew about Order 66 too, or just that the clones were all part of the plan to start the war and get the Jedi mixed up in a galactic conflict?
I don't know. It's a tough one because, like you said, with Jesse, like I feel like he could see that programming because the way that he was talking to Ahsoka at one point is like he was literally telling her like you have no idea what is about to happen to you, and like
well he learned that the Jedi fucked her, right? He's like, hey, you know, the Jedi lie to you essentially. Like, why did you leave the Jedi? Pretty much. I mean, you're a cast-off apprentice just like I am. Yeah.
I think he may have some sort of inkling of it. I don't know if he knows that it's an order that can be. I don't know if he knows all the specifics, but I think he knows that the real loyalty of those clones do not lie to the citizens of the Republic.
All right, yeah, because I went back and rewatched the scene after he called me out, and he specifically says to Jesse, like, it's so cute that you have no idea your role in all of this.
Yeah.
So that's why I just jumped right to, there you go. He knows the clones are here to be the exterminators ultimately, but the commenter makes a point like, yeah, maybe it was just more like he understood that the clones were created to get the Jedi embroiled in a conflict, thin their ranks, and then, you know, ultimately lead to their disposal.
Yeah, I mean, he may not know the order by name, but he definitely knows the purpose of the clones is not what it seems.
Yeah, they're not just there to fight droids.
Yeah.
And then the last one here, Jesse was saying that... Whoa, we're getting a call. Jesse Grabo on YouTube here. He was saying Maul's extra passion at the end wasn't rage, it was terror, and... I agree with that because we just said it, but I do think it was a raging terror. It wasn't like the sitting and shaking, being terrified. He was so fucking pissed that no one was believing him, that he was caught, and he knows everyone's fucked now. So he was just like, fuck!
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. It's like he knows he is terrified, but he's also so angry because he's like, if you would have listened to me...
Right.
None of this would be happening.
And he would just rather be dead than deal with what's about to happen.
Yeah, because, I mean, the Maul that we see in Rebels is a much different Maul than we see during the Clone Wars timeline. So
he's a little goofy by Rebels. Like, he's kind of a eclectic, little odd by the time Ezra founds him. But Jesse does make a good point. I mean, Maul's panic there at the end was kind of heartbreaking. Not so much for the character because he is kind of a bad guy and he kills a lot of people we like, but because he was telling the truth. He was telling them exactly what was going to happen, and we all know as fans that all these good guys are about to get wiped out. Anakin Skywalker's about to become Darth Vader. Mace Windu's going to get betrayed. Kenobi's going to have to hide on a desert. Yoda's going to have to hide on a swamp. So yeah, it was kind of sad to see Maul basically just like, fuck, I tried, just kill me now because you guys don't even know what this galaxy is about to turn into because of this fucking Sidious Joker.
Oh yeah, dude, it was...
So thanks for the comments on YouTube, my friends. IG, we got one from Action Figure Snaps. Thanks, my buddy. Hey, assholes, just finished the last Clone Wars episode, and wow, it definitely is the best Star Wars we've seen in a minute, but I thought of you guys as soon as it was over and can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts and theories. Can't wait till next week. Well, there you go. You got our theories, you got our thoughts, and now you even got mentioned on the show.
There you go.
So rock and roll. Next one here, IG. This comes from Track Alliance. Your guys is just hands down the best source for this stuff. Thank you. We know we are awesome at talking about stuff, but we do appreciate their Track Alliance. Klondike Studios, someone that Nick just chose for the top 5 this week, and we just so happened to get a mention today, and it's a good one. Dudes! I have to tell you that I'm beyond stoked about this. You have no idea how awesome this is for me, his top 5. I have to tell you that very literally, I was intending to write y'all yesterday just to say how much I really enjoy the podcast and that I listen to the whole thing every time, even though I'm not actually current with Clone Wars. Sorry for the spoilers, buddy. I listen to quite a few podcasts, and I generally think that you guys do a great job. Well, at least he generally thinks that. That's good. I will take that. I will take a generally thinking instead of you guys are fucking stupid. The production value is high. Well, you should see what we do offline. And there is never awkward silence. True. Anyway, I don't want to get too long-winded here. Just wanted to let you know that I am genuinely a fan and that I am seriously honored to be mentioned. Thank you, Klondike Studios. That's why we do what we do. Nick makes dreams come true.
I try.
Right? I have to mention this only because Nick didn't pick it. But Cryo Photography's most recent homage to the Star Wars Time show in the toy photography hobby could be the greatest example of this type of art. I mean, this shot, Nick, I don't know if you saw it, but he somehow printed off a 3D version of our hat, the one I'm wearing right now. He's got it on backwards on Yavin Jacket Luke. He's got a little miniature camera prop. And Luke is essentially staging a Rebel pilot figure in front of it like he's taking a toy photography picture.
Yes.
I guess I should pull this up on the internet so people could see
exactly. I saw this and I liked it on my personal page and I was like, oh man, that's definitely a contender for the top 5. Did you share it this week on our page?
It would have been in the shots that you would have picked for this week's top 5.
Yeah.
Here we go. Now I pulled it up on the video feed, but Nick can't see it. I guess I should have sent him a link. But I mean, it is just.
I found it and I did. I remember seeing it when I saw it on my personal page. I was like, this is fucking really, really good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and honestly, like, this isn't a Matt top 1 week. This is a Haywood shot breakdown week, but like that's definitely.
Well, yeah, it's like I said. I mean, we do mentions before Nick's top 5 now, and if you do stuff like this or send us comments or chat or ask us questions, I'm gonna bring it up. And I was holding off on Nick's top 5 to see if this was gonna go in there or the mentions, and it's in the mentions. So Cryo, fucking banger, buddy. I mean, this is one of the best. And there's been a lot of toy photography shots of figures being toy photographers. Mm-hmm. To me, this is one of the best, and that's not just because it's also a dedication to the Star Wars Time show. I mean, Luke with his hat on backward, lining up that figure is just so fucking perfect.
Yeah, I really do like that shot. I thought it was
you, Chris.
Really creative.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I think you got one more, and then we can move on here. Oh, I just want to mention our buddy Sir Dork. He ran this Jump Trooper challenge over the first couple weeks of April, and my lazy ass actually got off the couch, off of the podcasting chair here, out of SWTS HQ, and tried a few shots, a few setups to kind of join into Sir Dork's Jump Trooper challenge, which essentially had to be a shot of a trooper of any generation jumping. You know, like, hey, like a Mario jump, any type of jump. And lo and behold, the good man and the lovely Chaos Cuties selected one of my shots for their final 10.
Oh,
the top awesome. 10 of the challenge. A few of us got in there, actually. A few of the assholes, few names you've heard on the show. Cryo himself was in there. Our buddy Greggy Boy is in here.
I was going to say, did Greg make it? Because Greg's was a good one.
Yep, there we go. Greggy Boy made it. Drew Originals got one. He's been featured before. Papa Palpatine's been featured. Yeah. Photoy72 hasn't, probably because they don't use the hashtag, so shame on you. Stormtrooper Pete, he's someone I've been sharing. He got a good one up there. Visual Force, he was my top 1 last week. He was one of the top 10. Val Zuji. Okay. And there's the Haywood Pop right there in all its glory. This is actually a recent shot, Nick. This is something I shot during the month of April and actually got it post-processed and shared within the same month. All right, that right there, I'm gonna clap myself up for that. Because typically, if I would have taken a shot in April of 2020, I probably wouldn't have shared it until February of 2021. That used to be my old turnaround time. So, thanks for that. And then last one was Todd Offer, someone else we've also, I believe, at least featured using the hashtag Star Wars Time Show. So, thank you. Sir Dork, Chaos Cuties, and everyone else, congratulations. I'm the best. Everyone else was behind me. I was number one.
He was the first.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it was fun. I don't usually do this type of shit because it intimidates me and I think I suck. But I did like the challenge. It gave me at least an idea to put in this blank head to set up a toy shot, which I usually never have when I do my toy photography. And since we're talking about toy photography, Nick, and we've been doing this basically all day today, let's go ahead and get into the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. 420 week, that is.
Oh, yeah.
Take it away,
420,
Nick.
427. There we go. All right. So
are you kidding me? The images aren't displaying on the site. You gotta be bugging. There we go.
Okay. Now you guys can see what we're doing as we go through the top 5 now.
Oh, yeah.
This stupid little earpiece almost fell out. I'm telling you guys, I may have to switch to regular headphones next time because these things do not stay in my ear as I move my hands and make facial expressions. So, top 5 this week. First up, we have a new top 5 contestant, a new top 5 entrant, and this is Rosa A. Paints, and it's a crack-on digital painting of Captain Rex. And you can see behind him the Bad Batch, and I believe the echoes. Right.
I'll be honest. I did not do Rosa justice with this because this is actually a wide shot. Okay. Oh my God! Sorry, Rosa. If you go on her account, I could just pull it up. I do have a fucking computer right in front of my face.
Okay.
Okay. If you pull it up, this is actually a continuous shot. So the one we shared is just of Rex, and it's fantastic. But you can see the full shot pulls out. You got, what is that? Hunter is up there, kind of in the same plane as Rex.
Yep.
It's just, I love the style of the shot. I mean, it's got an animated look, a comic book art type of look, a bit of Rose's style, or Rose style. I'm looking at her name here. But I'll tell you right now, I'm a huge fan of Ro already. And we just found her. And you know why? She's got fantastic art. But immediately, she was honoring the Star Wars Time show for us honoring her. And you know, I love flattery. I love when people pay attention to us. It is a dark void within my soul that really fucks up my life in a lot of aspects. But that's just how it is. I crave attention for some reason. But as soon as I shared her shot, she's like, hey, you guys are awesome, thanks, blah, blah, blah. And then when you announced her for her top 5, she's like, you guys are legends. And I'm just going, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I'll be following this page with great interest now. There's no fucking doubt about it. So, anyways, back to her shot, man.
I mean, it's just, I mean, everything about it is incredible. Knowing that it's a pull-out shot now, and like you don't only see Rex and Tech, you see the whole kind of, the whole Bad Batch crew there, Clone Force 99. I mean, it's a really awesome piece of artwork here. ROSAA Paints on Instagram. Absolutely.
Great stuff. She's got a great painting of the child. She has another one of these ultra-wide paintings of Ahsoka that I honestly think may even be better than the one we just talked about. It's almost like a live-action version of that power stance she does when she lands on Mandalore.
Yeah. It looks, that looks so badass.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So this is a solid page to... And again, do you think this is this painting, dude, or drawing?
I don't know.
God, we're so fucking stupid with the art stuff, man. We're so stupid.
It's probably
a painter. There you go. I guess we should just read. Ro, artist. She's got some scripture, and then a painter. So there you go.
Okay, yeah. So digital painter, artist, drawer, all around. This girl is just a killer artist. So
excellent stuff.
Rosa A Paints on Instagram. So go give her a follow.
Yes, severely underfollowed right now. So help her out.
Yes.
Let's try to get a super scoundrel going with Rosa A Paints here. Where Nick and I pretend that we helped him gain like 10,000 followers in a month or so.
Yeah, Devin. Share this girl around because she's got some absolute
you know, Devin. You know the power of the Star Wars Time show.
All right. Next up, we have at Starfellows here on IG.
That's the one. I was like, who's Starfellows? Because I don't like to look at these shots before we go live, so you can see my reaction right there on the camera.
I mean, I don't know if it's like, I definitely am into these Egg Attack figures because I think the chibi look and just the way that these things look and their design.
Oh yeah, I have a ton of them, dude. I just, for some reason, I can't shoot the chibs anymore.
But like this one here, like when you shoot these chibi figures, like, I mean, Greg uses them. I've seen a ton of other people, Starfellows here. You can't put them in like super serious poses. You have to do something fun with them. And like Starfellows kills it with this fucking boudoir, like almost like cosplay girl shot of a Stormtrooper Egg Attack.
It's a sexy pose, man. He's like, I want to go lay next to this First Order Stormtrooper now and just kind of snuggle with him. Oh, I mean, it's a very inviting looking shot,
and just like the slight kind of feathering / blur in the top corner, and then the black and white to really bring it all together as like this classy photograph.
Oh yeah, it's the pose like, I'm too sexy for my rug, too sexy for my rug. I mean, it's beautiful. This just goes to show you once again, as I've been saying on these segments and when I shit on my own shots, posing is everything. Everything. Yeah, I mean, this whole shot to me caught my eye. I do like the black and white. I think the black and white works very well for this shot because Starfellows here, the initial or the leading shot was a color version. This was a swipe. So I do prefer the black and white. But it really is. It's the pose there. I mean, he almost has like his hand going down his pants, like most guys do when they're relaxing, and then he got it up there on his head, like he is trying to get that little sexy twist in. The leg up,
exactly.
Once again, this shot 100% caught my eye based on the pose.
Oh yeah, dude! It's a fantastic pose, fantastic concept and idea execution by Starfellows at Starfellows on Instagram.
I love it. I do like comedic toy shots. They are fun.
They're great. Next one up, not comedic, but this is like super relevant to what's going on now. We talked about the Clone Wars a ton today.
And this is right from episode 11, brother, right here.
Yeah, this is what we're in for episode 11. So this is a shot of Captain Rex looking at that Order 66 little holo disc as it comes up, and you see in the background Ahsoka kind of just behind him in the hallway. I mean, remember the Clone Troopers, it always has a fantastic visual flair. It doesn't even look like he's shooting toys. It just looks like shit straight out of a movie or a film.
This is a fun shot. I'm actually going to pull it up because he did a BTS. And this is a mixed scale shot, meaning if you look here, that's a big-ass 1/6 scale, like Rex Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, dude, that might be a quarter scale. That Rex looks fucking huge. Either way, it could be 1/6 scale. But then everything else is the little stuff. So that Ahsoka is actually a tiny 6-inch figure where the Rex is probably at least a foot tall. And just how he has the camera positioned and then the background, like the Ahsoka stuff further in the distance, gives us the final result, making them look like, they're not only in the same room, but they're actually same size figures.
Yeah, dude, that is a mastery of like scale and perspective.
Yep, that's using some force perspective and then just knowing the tricks you can do with a camera to kind of offset the scale differences. Because if you line these figures up next to each other, they would look silly. I mean, it would look stupid. But remember to clone. I mean, this Big Joe here, 18,000 followers. He's got him for a reason. He took a few weeks off. I think I believe his wife is a doctor or something, so she's probably living through Nightmareville right now. But he's back sharing again and tagging us, so we appreciate. Remember to clone, troopers. And I'll say it again. Let's go big accounts. You can do it. Throw that hashtag Star Wars Time Show there, or at least tag us. It's not going to kill you. If you're going to tag all that other nonsense like toy fuck off, pick poison, tag the Star Wars Time Show. But yeah, the Rex really caught my eye in the shot because I'm like, fuck, is that the 1/6 scale Black Series Rex? Because he looks good. But as I dove in, I realized it was a 1/6 scale, and then I was like, fuck, I wish I had that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it looks fucking incredible. The lighting, the posing, and just like you said, the perspective and the way that he was able to capture that awesome scale between a larger figure and smaller figure, making them look of similar size. So at remember_the_clone_troopers on Instagram, give it a follow. Well worth it. Next up is a loyal fan.
I'm so glad you picked this, not only to shut these guys up. I mean, Baron's not as bad as Greg. I mean, Greg, like, he's starting like the Marvel Time show, and he tags us in his Marvel shots now, and he's like, what, it's Disney? I was like, Greg, stop it, you fucker, you motherfucker. Greg!
He's trying to get a second podcast out of us.
Right,
That's what he's trying to do.
But go ahead. So this is Baron's Black Series, who is one of the regulars. He is definitely a key member in the circle of assholes.
Yes.
But him and Greg kind of like to bust our balls and whine and do a bunch of woe is me shit that they don't get top 5 every week. I'm hoping it's mostly a joke. But Baron got himself a new toy in the form of a big boy or big girl camera, a Sony A6000.
Yep.
And holy shit, right, Nick?
Yeah, I know. Like this camera, I mean, the quality of the
it's
shots
fucking
are
night and day. Hey, Spencer, I'm telling you right fucking now. The quality of your shots went up by a factor of 10. 10!
Yeah, dude.
This thing we're looking at with Zori would not look like this if you're still using your iPhone. And I'm not telling people that are shooting on iPhone that you're a bunch of fucking idiots. You shoot with what you shoot, and in the end, it's still the eye of the photographer that cooks up the scenes in the actual shot. But looking at this now, Nick, and if we go look at some of Baron's other shots, you cannot tell me that investing in a good camera doesn't change the end quality, overall quality of a shot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it 100% makes these scenes that you cook up in your head pop even more when you have a high quality camera like this. I mean, yes, phone cameras have gotten to a point to where, like, they're super good, and for everyday photographers, or if you're just walking around and taking pictures of shit, you probably don't need a real camera. But like for stuff like this, where you get an incredible atmospheric effect in from the sides and the vents, through the lighting, you see like everything pops that much better. When it's just the colors,
the atmosphere hits more. I have it pulled up here. You'll be able to see it on the video. But I mean, even Spencer was so blown away by the upgrade. He did a split screen of Zori. It's night and day. I mean, one you can totally tell was taken on a phone, and the other one was taken on a camera. And I believe none of these have been processed. These are right as they were snapped. And even still, it's night and day. So I'm not saying, hey, you can only be a good photographer if you go out and spend over $1,000 on a camera. That's absolutely not true. But if you are someone that you're like, man, I really feel like I could do more. I could make my shots look better with a camera. My phone just isn't quite giving me what I want. Yes, do it. As Spencer says in this post, do it, do it, do it.
Yeah. I mean, Spencer again was the first person, as I pointed out to Matt, to comment on the top 5 as it dropped. I'm glad that we could make your day. I'm glad we could get you through your grad school work and everything like that. Keep at it. The new camera is doing wonders, and this was just a really cool shot.
Yeah, it's a great. We hardly talked about the shot. I mean, it's a great shot of Zori Bliss. She's got some dead First Order troopers around her. He's using that Nova Revel buck fuck off diorama that he can actually build. He's got some space walls in there, and it looks like he dropped some atmosphere aerosol. And the one I picked, I like the camera angle. I love how the haze is pronounced but not overtaking the shot. There's a nice crisp look to Zori. I mean, it really is. I mean, Barrett, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this shot, I was like, holy fuck. It feels like the guy grew in skill overnight, but it's not like the camera made him set this shot up this way. The camera just produced a better looking version of his setups. Hopefully that makes sense. I wasn't shitting on the dude. It really does. I mean, I know there are some big players out there like, oh, you don't need a real nice camera. Trust me, they make a world of difference. If all you have is a phone, your shots will naturally just look better, even right out of your memory card, on an actual camera, hands down.
Yeah. So, at Barons Black Series on Instagram, BARONS Black Series on Instagram. Wonderful job. You're always really good at setup, and now you just have that camera to make everything pop that much more. And I agree. Like, the thing that really caught my eye here was Zori, like the crispness of Zori, but also that atmospheric, that really, it's just like a really subtle atmospheric effect. And I don't even know if you would be able to see it with an iPhone. But it was just, looks really fucking great here. So,
oops, I dropped down to the other shot before you close that. Sorry, Spencer. Didn't mean to take your time in the sun away so soon. But yeah, at Barons Black Series, give him a follow, shoot him a DM. I saw him. He was I think he's in grad school. He was working in Blackboard, which is the LMS I use as a professor myself. So
there you go.
Spending too much time in that shit. Yeah, here we go. Klondike Studios. Remember, this is the one that I read the mention from. We got that glowing praise because Nick got him in the top 5, and that's how it works, people. You suck our dicks, you will get featured. Just kidding, but maybe not.
You know what really, at Klondike Studios reminds me of here with this shot? It reminds me of a Plastic Action shot.
Oh, hey, look at that. Is some motherfucking praise right there, Klondike. You better take that snippet and just keep looping that shit over and over if you really want to pump up your ego.
I mean, because if you look at a lot of the things that Jax does, like Jax does some off-the-wall stuff. He comes up with really creative ideas and doesn't necessarily have to, like, it is with Star Wars figures, but it's not necessarily like a scene recreation or like something that would fit thematically into Star Wars.
Right.
And that's what Klondike did here with the Jump Trooper Challenge from Sir Dork, is he came up with a concept using Star Wars figures in background, but did something totally off the wall. And what you see is this is like a scout trooper, right? I'm really fucking terrible at the trooper types, but scout trooper.
I think these were called patrol troopers.
Okay, a patrol. Yeah, okay.
It's a solo guy, a Corellian dude.
Yeah. The scout trooper has a different helmet type.
Then you got some jump troopers in there, standard troopers and death troopers.
Yeah. And he's jumping. He's got a BMX bicycle, and he's doing a bike trick.
Yeah.
And he's got a standard issue clone stormtrooper like laying down flat next to a boombox, and the guy's like jumping over him.
Hell yeah, it's so sweet. I mean, he's got this line from Rum DNC: "I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MC should call me sire." It's just like I could hear them playing that as this dude's out here doing his fucking BMX tricks, during their lunch break on the Death Star.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. And just like even the clones in the background, like one guy's like pointing up to him, and the other guy's like looking up real. I mean, it's just the posing for all of the figures in the shot, not just the one focus of the guy jumping or the one on the ground. Like all the figures in the shot are posed so well, and it just.
I mean, honestly, Nick, I'm glad you chose Klondike shot because I was kind of shocked that it didn't make the top 10 of the Jump Trooper Challenge. I mean, nothing against Chaos and Sir Dork. I mean, we're all people. We have different opinions. But just knowing what I know as a toy photographer myself, an average one at best, but I am a toy photographer, this fucking setup had to take a lot of time, a lot of patience, and might have resulted in the death of other humans, because I can tell you right now, dude, the background right there is probably 2 feet high to build.
Yeah. And
those fucking space walls, they might be a 1/4 inch thick. So to balance those on top of each other and get them stacked, I don't know how many clips he had to use, but once you get them stacked, they just want to fall fucking flat over because it's not like they have stands behind them, and they're literally just flat pieces of plastic. Then he had to get lights up there to light the graded ones, blue lights to light the door, let alone the poses with all the fucking figures. He probably had to hang the dude and the bike from a wire, wipe the wire out. Finding the props, you got a boombox in there, and then like you said, the poses. It's a well composed scene, and it's one, like I said, that No fucking way would I be able to do something like this. Not that I couldn't physically set them up. I just know myself. That right there, this setup for me probably would have gave me a stroke. Because I'm telling you right now, the fucking backdrop would have fell right when I went to snap the shot. It would have knocked over every goddamn trooper like a fucking set of dominoes. And then I'd have to restage it all in anger, and it would never looked as good as the first staging. It happens all the time, man. I'm telling you. Other photographers, I know it's happened to you. You get everything perfectly set up, and then something fucking happens, and the dominoes kick off, and you literally want to punch your dick, or if you're a girl, punch your other thing, and you want to take your camera and fucking smash it off the ground and never do this hobby again.
Whew. I mean, I could tell just by looking at this that there was an amount of work in here that I just couldn't appreciate. But now hearing it from you, I have a better idea, at least.
Oh, this shot right here, the setup took way, way, way more time than actually snapping the shot. This is an impressive setup. This is one that, like I said, requires planning and severely high levels of patience.
Oh, yeah. So at Klondike Studios, absolutely wonderful job here.
Oh, no. This is a me week, isn't it?
Wait, what?
This is a me week. This is a Haywood pop shot.
Week. This is a Matt Haywood pop shot breakdown. It's not a pop shot this week, but it is time for you to take a look at your work, sir, and tell us how you made this happen.
Okay. This one doesn't get me angry because this is one of those where it's just like the blind squirrel finding a nut thing, which this is kind of how my toy photography journey is. Every once in a while, I'll produce a shot that looks like I thought about it, I staged it, and I had a plan. I can tell you that is not the case. So the shot we're looking at here, I probably took this in 2017. Yeah.
You posted, this was like early 2018, I think was the post.
There you go. So I think I took this in 2017. This was done down at Hilton Head in a gutter on the side of a street.
Interesting. Okay.
The reason I choose this gutter is because it gets a nice swath of light through it with shadows mixed in to kind of give you a light source to accentuate any particle effects. But also some shadow, so you're not just seeing light like blowing out the entire environment. So what I have here is Pilot Luke. He's in the background, and then R2 is in the foreground. I believe that's that piece of shit Mafix R2 I was talking about earlier. He's actually good. It's this goldenrod that sucks. But anyways, dude, what we got here, I mean, Luke, I might have just jammed his foot into the sand and kind of bent the knee a little bit to kind of mimic a running pose. Okay. And the spray, the particles you see, that is from my little fat foot kicking forcibly into the sand.
Dude, that looks so good for, like, literally you just kicking it.
Right. And this, dude, like I said, I usually fucking hate my work, but this is one of those shots where it's like, I had just started shooting figures at this point in my toy photography career. As you can tell, to this day, I still struggle with shooting figures and getting lifelike poses and this, that, and the other thing outside of just a statue portrait shot. I can do those, but like any sort of like action or a pose that insinuates this piece of plastic has life, I suck at. But every once in a while, I could actually figure it out, like this shot. So yeah, it's again very simple setup. No external lights. This is all natural lighting. No air sprays, no atmosphere aerosol. It's just a good kick into the sand. And that's a technique I actually came up with myself on my own. I'm not saying someone else hasn't done it before. I'd never seen it. But I can remember, I'm sitting here, I'm like, fuck, dude. You're at the beach, there's sand, you didn't bring any canned air with you, and there's no canned air around the beach shops. I was like, how could I get this done? And I'm like, I don't know how I stumbled upon it, Nick, but I was like, you know what? I got a fucking foot, and I got some fucking sand, and if I just kind of kick down at it, almost like you're doing a punt or a kickoff, you can get the sand to really kind of spray up forcibly and then leave a particle after effect, and it just happened to work on this one. So these, my friends, when you want to do shots where you're trying to capture particles, be it fireworks, atmosphere aerosol, canned air, spraying up mud or sand, it really is. It's about the lighting. You need the light to backlight in particular to highlight the particles kicking up, and fast shutter speeds, and you want to be taking multiple pictures per button click. Like literally hold the button down and because you never know. This is probably 100 of 200 shots of the same setup, Nick. But some of them would have had the full force of my initial sand kick, so it would have literally looked like a wave of sand in front of the figures. Some probably had no sand at all, but sometimes you get lucky and you get a shot where it kind of fills it out, and you're like, hey, fucking A. These days I've learned enough where I could take multiple shots now and merge them into one to get the particle effect I want, but this is from the simpler times when I didn't fucking think so much about shoots, and I just would go outside, set them up, and let her rip.
Set them up and then literally just kick dirt at them.
100%. And I can't do it anymore because I get in my head. It's like I get so in my head, I cripple myself to the point where I can't even go outside and take a shoot. Because like, well, should I bring this light? Should I bring this fucking Lube Cube 2.0, 1.0, Aperture Tech? It's like, fuck. Here, I use the fucking sun, a ditch on the side of the road, and some scum-filled sand.
There we go. Sometimes that's all you need is just the sun, a camera, and your foot. And that's what we see here. I mean, I think this is really fucking cool. I mean, we talked about natural lighting and stuff like that a couple of weeks ago with some other shots. And this one is, again, like, it's just, like you said, it's natural light, it's natural environment, and it's just like the luck of the fucking camera click. So,
pretty much. I'm not going to take any credit for this setup because it's the way I roll. I like, I just bought this figure here. This one's laying around. Boom, boom, boom. Throw them in a bag. Walk outside and let's do it.
There we go. The more innocent time in your career.
There's no doubt about it, man. I should definitely apply the KISS method to toy photography, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one for you toy photographers. If you're struggling with Matt Haywood level insanity, keep it simple, stupid.
That's why, I mean, the lockdowns have been kind of nice because I might run outside and just throw some figures down on my dirt again and take a shot. I mean, it's something I've avoided for two years or more, trying to replicate some of the badass shit I see from people on Instagram using lights, this, that, and the other thing. And I've taken good shots that way, but there's something refreshing about just not worrying about all the bullshit and just getting out, plopping down some plastic, and shooting.
Yep. All right. Well, that's the end of the top 5, and that's the end of Matt Haywood's breakdown, and that's the end of this podcast. So, Matt, why don't you take us into the dance?
Damn straight, brother. Fuck, I'm ready for this dance this time. I usually don't like to say goodbye to Nick, but he and I have now been talking to each other since 2:30 Eastern time. It's now 6 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah.
We almost put in a half day of full work at this point. I mean, we had to do some tech shit early on, figure out the OBS setup, but my God, this is a record. We set records left and right on the Star Wars Time show. So as Nick said, if you want to get involved, it's time to do the dance. And all the dance involves is a little bit of this. See Nick? See me? We're doing it. We're rocking and rolling. We're feeling it. We've got the moves. But in all seriousness, what we need you to do after you're done dancing is head over to StarWarsTime.net. That's right, this sexy looking Star Wars fan site right here. You can see if you're watching the cast on YouTube. If not, pull it up on YouTube and you can see it too. But on StarWarsTime.net, you can find all of our content that we share throughout the week, most of it which becomes topics on the newest episode of the Star Wars Time show itself. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what the boys will be talking about, hit up StarWarsTime.net. But more importantly, while you're here, this is where you can get hooked into the podcast. Hit that subscribe to podcast link right up there at the top of the site. If you're on mobile, it'll be in the hamburger menu. And of course, this is one of those times where Safari's not going to run our site as I'm doing a live video and a tour, but you kind of get the idea. Let's say subscribe to podcast doesn't open. Guess what? Just slide down the page a little bit and right there in the sidebar, you can see all of the podcast networks we have for you to enjoy. Apple, Google, Spotify, TuneIn, Android, you know the rest. You know what to do. So if you're new, get linked in. If you're coming from YouTube, Thanks for coming. Hopefully you'll follow us, give us some likes, give us some ratings on the podcast platform of your choice. If you are on YouTube, you don't need to do the next thing, but if you're not, go ahead and get subscribed to us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show, or just use this handy subscribe button on StarWarsTime.net. It's not that hard. There's no handouts here. There's no Patreons. We're not asking for your money. We're just asking for your praise, your glowing reviews of the show. I want you to tell me how sexy I am, that type of stuff, right? We don't ask for much here at the Star Wars Time Show. Just to help promote it. Spread this shit. Star Wars 19, right? Spread it. Star Wars 19. Don't spread the COVID-19. Spread that Star Wars stuff. Tell a friend, tell a pet. It doesn't matter. I guarantee you a dog will sit here and watch our video for 3 hours straight. All right? I'm not going to take that to the bank, but I think it's going to happen. So go ahead and give it a try. StarWarsTime.net. Because there's always time for Star Wars time. I've heard that before. It's a saying. There's always time for Star Wars time. And remember, if you do listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you. Always.